And a happy Wednesday. It's game day. Edmonton Oilers in Vancouver to take on the Canucks. Welcome to the EST Hangout. Matthew Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola with you here. YouTube Trev in for now. He's seat filling.
Yep.
For
Whoa. Ouch.
Well, it's true.
He's valuable too.
Yeah. He is.
Yeah.
No,
He is.
I'm going to be totally okay with them, guys. We got coming in, so you better be ready.
Well, he's the. Well, I can't say his opening act is wrong too. Then.
Yeah.
That's
fair.
I'm the appetizer.
Everyone loves a good
Yeah,
appetizer.
You're a
and I'm
tasty
great.
treat?
Yeah.
That's
All right.
good. Is that okay?
Yeah, I like
I think
that.
we go
I
with
like that.
appetizer. The appetizer for
Yeah.
EST
Everyone
Hangout
loves
today is YouTube
appetizers.
Trev. And then the entree's coming.
Yeah.
Shawn Belle, Hello Hockey, former NHLer.
Delicious.
And Gene Principe, Sportsnet.
Scrumptious.
They're all going to be here on the EST Hangout. Now they better bring me some food because I'm a little hungry from
I'm
that.
sorry for using those terms.
I'm going to just quickly fix our
bad.
camera there and stuff. But boys,
Matthew.
how pumped up are you guys right now?
Yeah.
He's way more pumped up than I am.
Yeah.
You go ahead, Trev. You get the excitement going, then I'm just gonna be a Debbie Downer for 2 seconds.
Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, I'm
kidding. Yesterday I was sassy. I'll be fine.
I'm so pumped. I wore my Oilers kicks today. If you can see those, maybe
if
not.
you say we on either the pre or post game show, you're gonna get smacked.
Yeah, I'm not. I've been working on it. It's the
You don't play
Edmonton
for them.
Oilers. Yeah, I do not play for them. It's the Edmonton Oilers. Did I say we just?
No, you didn't.
Oh, okay, good.
Thank
Yeah,
God.
no, I'm beyond pumped. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Just done with the hypotheticals. This and that and that and this. It's game time. Like we can finally just talk hockey, and it's not preseason where it doesn't really matter. It all starts tonight against the Canucks, and it should be a lot of fun. I cannot wait to see what the Edmonton Oilers do tonight, and it's gonna be great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
He's learning.
Tommy, what do you think
slowly.
our Oilers? What do you think the
boy.
Oilers will do
Oh,
tonight?
I need to leave. This
Crush
city's
ourselves.
hockey team that plays in the National Hockey League. I think there's a lot to be excited about. Obviously, this is going to be an important year and all the hype. Now we can finally slowly exhale and watch this process continue to evolve, I think. And the demeanor from this group is interesting. I talked to Ryan McLeod yesterday for a few minutes. Awesome guy, by the way. And he's like, there's a business-like approach to this season. Everybody understands their role. Everybody fits in well, and they know that the goal is that really nice, shiny trophy that Jonathan Marchessault and Jack Eichel pulled out of the ESPN Sports Center dishwasher on that commercial. That's what you want. You want Stanley's mug, and this is it for the Oilers. They have this window, and they've gone through painful lessons, and so now they embark on what you dubbed to be an meaningless regular season, and then when the playoffs start is when you engage. But I'm excited.
It should be a meaningless.
I'm
regular.
excited.
Ultimately, this should be a meaning. If you're going to be a Stanley Cup contender, if you're going to go win a Stanley Cup, you're good enough that it should be quote unquote relatively meaningless.
I understand and respect that sentiment, but I also appreciate the process and
I do too.
How teams evolve and how they handle situations and some tough times and injuries, and I love how that all kind of unfolds and how the team adds and how they get clever, and to me that's the best part of hockey is that roller coaster ride. So it begins tonight. It's a 14-hour day, I believe, Matthew. So I brought everything today. I brought like a change. There's a suit over there. There's like both backpacks.
Are you staying here?
I'm assuming I'm staying here. Are we leaving at some point? I figured
I'm going to leave.
Okay, then I'm leaving
back.
too. If I don't need to stay here, I'm not staying here.
I'm going to go get a pillow and a blanket so I could sleep here tonight or
Yeah,
tomorrow.
well, you have-
So I got to go grab some
You've
stuff.
got two great couches to choose from.
Yeah.
Why a suit?
Because I have to do a hit for TV later.
Oh, that's okay. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I was wondering the suit part of this.
And also, no, the other thing too, I was thinking about this. Like, we're on camera now, and obviously...
You want to suit up for the pre-post?
Well, yeah, I won't wear a tie.
He's gonna look good.
But I'll wear, like, something nicer.
Okay. You just want to make us all look bad. That's
No,
cool.
it's-
That's cool. Dusty
Hang
and
on a
Eric in the
sec.
morning doing their show. I come on, looking in my hoodies and all that. And you just want to suit up and try
Yeah.
to up
He
all
looks
of our
great.
games.
We're on camera now. I mean, listen, we can be casual during the day, but come game time, like let's jazz this thing
like
up.
it.
A
You
little.
saying you're going to stay around here all day?
Yeah,
What time's the pregame show start?
6:30.
Why would you stay here for like
because it's
4 hours?
we have like 9 shows to do today.
Oh my goodness.
What do you mean 9
End of the
shows?
oil stream.
By the way,
Yeah.
while Dusty has his chat there,
Nielsen's
Oil
right
Stream
here.
pregame show. We get it going
know.
tonight right here in Edmonton Sports Talk. We've got you covered before and after every single Edmonton Oiler game on EdmontonSportsTalk.com as well as on our YouTube channel.
I just got called out. I got
Tommy.
called out.
Trev,
He did not.
Are you okay?
Belle, Cass, Gager, a bunch of different people are going to be on the show.
He's coming in.
with these.
He's got to come in here. All right.
Oil Stream
let's hear it.
pregame, postgame show, Edmonton
this
Sports
guy?
Talk. We're giving it to you. Now the boss is here.
No, I'm not calling you out, Tommy. I just was
I
surprised
know.
that you wanted to stay here for 5.5
just-
unnecessary hours. Like,
I just-
what are we going to
hours.
do all day?
I don't know. I just assumed that's what we were gonna do. Like Belsey wants to do some like business calls and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
and so I'm like, oh, I guess I'll stay here today. I don't know. I'd rather not.
I just found that funny that you're going to stay here for 5.5 hours. Because you're not staying. You're not. You're coming back. And Maddie, you're coming
I've
back.
changed my plans.
Yeah. I mean, feel free to stay. You have a key, obviously, but I just
do.
Have the
I
place
just
to
thought it
yourself.
was weird to set up shop for 5.5 hours here.
I just assumed we were all staying like one big happy family.
That's the
I love
beauty
you, buddy.
of this place. Everyone just wants to be here.
Yeah.
It's home.
Yeah.
It's home for a
Yeah,
bunch
that's
of
right.
us.
Joaquin Gage's new office is is supposed to be our audio booth.
Yeah, Gager's in there right now, I think.
Yeah,
He's over
sleeping.
there working right now. So
Yeah.
anyway, I thought I felt bad. I'll get out of your guys' way here.
Oh, that's
But
fine.
I
no,
thought
continue.
that was funny.
Thank you. It's a big day today.
It is a big day today. It's
home
a huge
opener.
day.
He can't. He's too excited.
Yeah, well,
Well,
but it's a big day for us. Like having the pre and post
Yeah.
game, man. Like,
Yeah. Oh
Can't
yeah.
wait.
We're ready to go.
Yeah.
I mean, it only makes sense to continue what we had and build on it. So yeah, I was gonna say
we're gonna
like
build.
he was very excited. I made sure he didn't use the term "we" when talking about the Oilers.
Yes, that's right.
Him being a former fan, now being
Yeah.
a professional member of the media.
It's time
Yeah.
to get real, Trev.
Yeah,
it's pretty
exactly.
intense,
He can
Still be
honestly.
a fan.
But like, this is season 17 for me covering this team.
That's crazy.
Are you
man.
serious?
Yeah, and I'm excited. Like opening
17.
night is always great, but
How old are you now?
38.
21? You were
21.
covering the team?
Yeah, I was
Holy
Gene's studio runner,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
aka bitch boy, for my first season in 07-08.
That's crazy.
Jeez, 17 years, buddy.
I know. I started when I was 21. We can use that term, right?
What,
You just
21?
did.
Of course
I
you
just
can.
did. Yeah, sorry.
did.
So yeah, this is season 17. So I'm excited, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just it's not the same because it's like, oh, it's gonna be a long day.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be a long day. You can go home and have a
It
nap
just-
if you
it-
want. That's what
I-
I'm saying. That's why I came
I don't
in.
know if you noticed a shift in my demeanor when I realized I'm not gonna be here all day.
Did you get? Are you?
He's more
Are you happier now,
happy.
or are you like sad?
A little bit more pleasant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I went out doing that show uninterrupted. I had to take a huge piss.
Oh,
So I was walking out and I saw you have the suit. Like, is that just a suit, a shirt out there? A nice shirt
no, there's a tie there too.
That's a tie?
and blazer.
and a blazer. So what's the? It's really colorful.
Yeah.
What's the colorful thing? Is that the shirt or the blazer?
The shirt is like green with like little blue stripes.
Okay,
and
yeah, yeah.
then
That's I must
the
have saw the
tie-
shirt then. Yeah.
The tie is also
Yeah, yeah.
blue with green and white.
Yeah, Trevor, you
Ooh,
dressing
nice.
up tonight?
No, I wasn't planning.
This is it.
But yeah, I was probably gonna. Yeah, unless you want me to, I
No,
can spice
no,
it up a
that's
little
okay.
bit, maybe.
That's all right.
Okay, nice.
Gager's wearing a tuxedo. Is that weird?
No, that's
I
expected.
want the leather
Yeah.
jacket out.
That would be great. It does get warm in that studio.
Is
though.
Gager
Is he coming
is he
in?
doing the game?
Yeah, he's coming in.
He's coming in too.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't know he was
Oh,
coming
you
in.
know, maybe we should hang out all afternoon then.
Yeah.
Oh,
Actually,
boy.
I was mentioning this with Tommy last week. I don't know if I did it on air or it was somewhere else. We were talking about doing like a watch party while watching a game online.
Yeah, of course.
Well, definitely.
Thanksgiving Friday of the U.S. Thanksgiving Friday. Oilers play at 1.
Let's do it.
That'd be
Yeah. What day is that?
It's a Friday.
It's a Friday.
As I said, the Thanksgiving Friday.
No, I just say. I mean, you guys should definitely do that. I don't know if I could be here. I might have to fly out. Isn't that CFL playoffs that weekend?
Aren't they
no,
done
Grey
by then?
Cup's done the week prior.
When's American Thanksgiving?
The end
It's
of
late.
November.
Oh yeah, I could do that. That'd be fun.
sweet.
Sorry, boys. My
Let's
whole
do it.
schedule's
You-
all like.
What's going on?
Yeah,
It used to be
I'm
Grey
busy,
Cup. It
guys.
used to be
Like-
Grey Cup week, U.S. Thanksgiving,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then a few years ago they bumped it up by 1 week. So now
Oh, that would
Grey
be
Cup
fun.
happens on the Sunday,
Yeah.
U.S. Thanksgiving's that following week.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's 1 o'clock. Washington, I believe
Yes.
it is.
Oh, perfect.
It's like their only Friday game this year too.
Interesting.
They play so much.
so
They play like
that's-
every Saturday, a bunch of Sundays.
And if we don't have anything else going on, that Friday we can kind of turn it into
Dance
you
party.
do the post game show
Yeah.
and then have a little night.
Oh,
Turn
you
it
want
up.
to turn it
yeah,
up?
I kind of want to turn it up a notch.
Yeah,
there.
that's
I like that.
That'll be my first weekend, like post CFL.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice. Yeah, we
Dusty's
can
back in the
celebrate.
city.
Yes,
like-
it's green
hits
light.
the town.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
That's not a bad idea.
I like this idea very much. I'm getting more excited as this day
Tony, I'm
progresses.
glad your day's picking up, man. Like,
Thank you,
this
guys.
Good.
That's
I'm glad I hopped in
best
here. Like,
teammates ever.
Yeah.
Like it started with chastising, and here we are.
Who was
Oh,
chastised?
you,
See,
when you're
that's why I
walking
came
by.
in. I wanted to clarify that I wasn't chastising you.
That wasn't a very boss move. You know, as a boss, you should wait till someone's off the air and then call them in
But we're
privately.
constantly
and then
on the
chastise
air.
them. I'm just saying, like, that was, as a boss,
I'm all right with it.
that was a little harsh. That was, yeah, it was very public.
I mean, I think
Even a text, you know, keeping a little private between you and him.
I think it adds to the behind the
immediately
scenes,
I
go
thought it,
right
I thought
out
it was
to
funny.
Thank you, Trav.
calling everyone out.
This is
I'm
all
just
funny.
saying, as they could have handled a little bit.
Yeah. But I mean, if people are watching or listening right now, am I a bad
Let the
boss
people
for
decide.
telling Tommy that he doesn't have to stay around for 4 hours this afternoon?
It wasn't-
To me, that's a great boss
It
move.
wasn't what you said;
like
it was
that.
how you said it.
Well, I mean, we're buddies. It was just a
Yeah.
buddy saying something to a
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
what are you doing staying around
like-
here for 5.5 unnecessary hours today? Like,
I like some of the texts that are coming. Freezer bag with some digs here. 780-218-9999. Is there anyone more allergic to work than Gazzola?
He says he was
this is
going
the guy
to be
who
here
was
for
saying all
14
He's going to be here for
hours.
14 hours.
yeah.
I
mean,
I drove literally from the studio to the rink and worked yesterday. Like,
Yeah.
I put in the work. I put in the work, Freezer bag. Holy smokes. And then Freezer bag follows up with they have 4 Friday home games. Okay. I looked at the schedule casually because I play hockey on Friday nights.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, man, I'm going to be able to play most of these Fridays. And then Freezer bag is getting nasty. I don't like this Freezer bag. Take it up with HR, you little B.
Wow.
Freezer bag, you're in my bad books.
You know, where's HR Daddy when you need him,
HR
man?
Daddy
Yeah,
doesn't
get
like
this
Freezer
clarified.
bag anyway. He's
I
starting
wonder
to
if HR
sound
Daddy
like
would think I handled that inappropriately.
Heel Boss is getting a lot of love actually right now in the
Heel
nasty
boss.
chat.
I love
yeah.
Greg
that.
says heel Dusty makes a great boss, and then Jen heel Dusty for the win. So you're being considered a heel for that,
Good.
which says it.
Good.
So
Look,
Yeah.
somebody told me last week, like, we've got a really good thing going here, but we're all really nice guys. Heel boss changes that. Right? Heel boss says, Trev, get to work on those videos.
Yep.
At your convenience.
Right,
You know,
okay.
like
I also haven't pissed anyone off yet in terms of on air.
wow.
I really haven't gone
No,
there.
you've been good.
yeah, I thought for sure
That
we would
hasn't
have to
happened
fire
yet.
you by now.
Yeah, like there hasn't been a complaint about me yet or anything like that. So it's been a lot harder for me to do that.
Who just got here, Gino or Belzy?
That's Gene.
It's
I
Uncle
think.
Gene.
Is that Gene Principe?
That sounds like Gene.
Get in
You
here.
can hear
Look at
the
look
soft-
at wait till
No.
you see
Oh,
his
Gino-
haircut.
Oh, look at this haircut.
Look at
Look
that.
at
Whoa.
Nikes.
Looking
That's
good.
wild. Okay, Trev,
Right on.
do you have
Tapping
work to
out.
do? Okay, you want to tap out? Okay.
Yeah.
You want to talk to Gene?
I want to sit in here with Gene Principe. I've never once
Get in here.
I've never once in my life got to broadcast with Gene Principe. So this is kind of cool actually.
Excuse me.
Gotcha.
Must have been the chili.
So so when did this hair
just-
thing happen?
well,
Okay, hey, and you
yesterday.
gotta keep it close.
Sideways,
You know,
yeah,
and,
sideways
and
mic.
sideways.
Speak into this part.
the side
of the mic.
part.
You guys.
Sorry,
together-
Gene, we couldn't
This
afford
one.
the good mics.
You guys. Together,
Apparently these ones are good.
Yeah,
they look good.
they do. They look
You
okay.
look
Hey,
good.
like,
Yeah, they remind me. Well, actually, my hair. So, what's the story of my hair? I haven't cut it in a year.
yeah.
So yesterday, originally I wasn't supposed to do anything on camera. Season starts yesterday and today for the Oilers. So I thought I'd get it cut today, maybe tomorrow, because I don't broadcast the game till next week,
Okay.
Nashville. But then I was told I had to do something with Mark Spector, and I had to do a bunch of stuff on camera. I thought, you know what? Better get it cut. So I went in, and the lady goes, wow, you haven't had your haircut since October 18th. And I just go like wherever I can get in, you know.
You
It
don't
was-
have a place?
You don't have a
don't have-
Chantel?
No.
That's insane. How does
I-
Gene Principe
I
not have a
don't know.
place?
Can I
Like-
send you to Chantel?
Well, you know, you can.
She would love
I'm
you.
not
Will
sure if
you
I'd
go? Yeah, that's the thing.
You know what? I'm convenience once a year, not a big deal.
Yeah.
It grows back. Ray Ferraro used to say, I think the difference between a good haircut and a bad haircut's like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So
Pretty much.
I do care about my hair, but I don't care about it, I guess, when it comes to cutting it. So I just went in and got it, and she's like, "You want it shorter?" Yep. Let's go. So
Oh,
it's
you
4
actually
on
had the nerve to
sides.
be like, take down even more.
Yeah.
I
was
always
like,
just accept what they give me.
Yeah,
Like, they'll be like, "Do you want short?" I'm like, "No, it's good, sir." Like,
yeah. I guess when you're once a year, you can be a little picky.
Yeah.
So I get 4 on the side.
Okay. Oh,
the
4. That's what I do on
clipper.
the side.
Yeah. And then up top, it's usually 2 inches. And then she thins it out. I mean,
Really?
yeah. So anyways. I
Man, you know how many
decided to
people
cut-
hate you right now to be like, she thins it out for me because my hair's so luscious. Like, that's amazing.
Well, yesterday it was funny because Jay Woodcroft came up and shook my hand. He goes, "Hi, I'm Jay Woodcroft, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers." And he said we should put some money together so she can get a haircut more often than once a year. As you guys know, Tom previously in his life raised money for charity with his hair, and I've done that. And I think through what you guys do and through social media, hair's, people would just turn on the TV and go, "Oh, he got his haircut," or he didn't, or she. But nowadays they sort of follow it.
Yeah.
So that's the long story.
I
of
used to get my
haircut.
haircut at when I first moved here. There was a old barber right north of West Edmonton Mall. Now there's a Mr. Barber there where I actually do go get my haircut. But it was I went there only because the haircut was $12.60.
Oh.
And I worked at $12.60. I was like, this
Nice.
is meant to be.
Yeah, wow.
Horrible haircuts.
Well,
but it didn't matter, right?
Yeah. I'm never quite sure about the tip. What, I don't know if they're of the 18%. Is it 20? Is it, I guess.
What's Chantel get? What's Chantel get?
20%.
20% for a haircut.
So my cut was $25.20, and I gave $4. I was going to give her $4.80, but I thought, to me, I like the even numbers on the visa or whatever. Like, it's 30, not 20.
Yeah, I
20.
do that.
Easy
But
to track.
I gave $4, which would, I don't know what the math is.
Oh,
on
you
that.
like it
Would have
being
been like
even
17,
on the
18%.
Yeah.
The final
Oh,
total.
Yeah,
I like giving an even tip.
Yeah, right. Well, I like to do the even tip, but I like to have the even number more. I guess it's
That
an
probably
old
goes
man
back
thing.
to the day
That's
when you had to
OCD.
fill out the
Yes.
credit card, and because my
Yeah.
dad used to do that too, where
Yeah,
you
yeah.
make the
And you-
tip, so it'd be so your total was always
be
rounded
yeah,
out.
It
to
wasn't
even, so
yeah,
it'd be easier
it was
to keep track
$30
later.
Right.
instead of 30-20.
I
so
understand that.
I gave her $4, which is around 18%.
Do you tip?
Yeah,
You do.
It's high.
I thought for sure it's high.
yeah,
What?
What did you
it's like
say?
$15,
On how much is the
the tip.
haircut?
Well, but you
$55 or something.
Wow. 55
$15.
Yeah.
Take your head off.
Well,
He's got
my
good
hair's
hair.
not done.
Yeah. Yeah,
Haven't
well, yeah.
done
you
any
got
It's, a
That's
quite
nice,
a bit.
it's pretty good
That's
looking
pretty
head of
good.
hair,
It's
like-
pretty good. actually.
It's
So $55 and then 15 on top of it.
Yeah.
So you're paying $70
Wow.
for a haircut.
Yeah,
Wow.
once every
Ow.
4 weeks.
mine's like
You get one
40
every
with the
4
tip.
weeks?
I go every 4 weeks. Hair just keeps growing. I can't handle it personally.
Really,
I can't.
eh?
So I go.
That's a lot of.
So you're budgeting
Sides,
seven. How much
plan.
is that
That's
a
like
year?
a
Like
800. It's like
like
over
$300
$800 on haircuts, right?
yeah,
Yeah, it's almost $900.
Man,
for the year,
for
I
some
guess,
reason, my
overall.
math, I was like, that's almost $400. I definitely wasn't
No,
doing
it's-
that.
Sounds like my math.
Yeah,
Get you through.
It's a good spot. It's the guy I've done like
Man.
when they did the NHL
Do you get like
bubble.
a shave and like a
No, when they did the
massage?
NHL bubble and stuff,
Yeah.
like
Oh.
the guys, they went in, or one of the guys from there went in to the bubble to give the players
Oh,
their
I know.
haircut.
Is
It's
that
in
Mo?
Mercer's. No, this is weekly trim.
Oh, okay.
It's within the
It's
Mercer
just called
building.
weekly trim.
Weekly Trim True.
Wow, WTT.
When I was a kid, like a kid, probably 12, I used to take the bus, and at Nate, they have hairdressing school. I'd go get my haircut at Nate because it was like 50 cents, right? My parents were, shall we say, economical. So I take the bus. I lived kind of near the old arena.
Okay.
Sort of close to there. And then, there
my
were no
God.
appointments, and you just go wait.
Yeah.
And so it could take like 3 hours to get your haircut or 30 minutes or so, and I mean, they were talking about lopsided haircuts, right? These are
What size bolt did you
Okay,
get?
Pretty much.
You got
pretty
home, you looked in the
much.
mirror and said, "Oh, that guy's
Yeah.
failing. That kid's failing. Like, there's no way."
No chance. They're not working at where
Yeah.
you get
Weekly
your
Trim
haircut?
True.
Weekly
Right.
trim true.
They better give me some
So
free stuff.
yeah, lots of haircuts have a history in my own personal.
No
sort of
wonder you
family,
don't
but-
like getting them.
Yeah. I remember once in Lethbridge, I got a cut, and the girl cut my ear, and it was bleeding, and I'm like, "What happened?" And she goes, "Oh, it's fine. Everything's fine." And I was like, I ended up tipping her because I felt bad, even though she cut
That's
my
usually
ear.
how you do it.
It was actually just like it was literally bleeding like through the side.
Just
here.
a nice guy move. I tipped her when she cut me
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
felt bad.
Yeah. I felt bad that she cut my ear.
Did you?
Anyways,
Did you guys ever have your parents cut your hair? Like you said, you probably
yeah.
frugal
I
did.
had an aunt, my
Okay.
aunt Maria Teresa. She
Hey.
was
cool.
Zia Maria Teresa. She was a hairstylist.
I had to see him, Maria.
So we used to go. A lot of the family would go there when we were young,
Yeah.
and get haircuts. She was a stay-at-home mom, like with kids, and so yeah, we would just go and get a haircut. And I think like my dad might give her like a pack of cigarettes, or like I don't know, like just
Like one does.
bartering for hair.
Yeah.
yeah. I don't think there was ever money exchange.
Yeah.
I think that would be like Italian.
Maria,
It would
your
be,
cigarettes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd give her like a bottle of wine.
Yeah,
or, something like that.
And but so my mom in high school, because I used to a long time, I just get a buzz cut. Like so
Yeah.
my parents would just clip it. But my mom had this friend who was trying to get into hair school, and she's like, let her do your hair.
Yeah, of course.
And she just had to buzz it, but she took it up so high by the ears that like it came up above the ear, like bald ear. I was like, this is the worst haircut I had in my life. So then my mom was like, well, I'll see if I can fix it. So she went and took the clippers and actually shaved me bald for like a line right here. Like right here, it was like, just a razor. Like I was just, this was like in high school.
Yeah.
So I'm rolling into grade 11, 12 with the worst hair of all time, just because they wanted to cut it at home. It was awful.
Well, I mean, you have take pride in your hair.
I try to. I'm thankful for the fact I still have it.
Yeah.
Have you seen my dad and my uncles?
Yeah.
Like,
well, no, they say it's your what is
Mom's
it, your,
dad.
Generation, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
Mom's
mom-
dad is a pair. That's the old wise tale.
Yeah,
or
that
whatever.
it's your mom's dad. And I
Well-
mean, I'm never quite sure if that works, because sometimes you have families where you use that theory, and there's one or two people that do have their hair, and then there might be your cousins who have, like, let's say your mom's brother or sister. I'm not sure but that's what we've heard.
I hope it's
That's
true.
never changed. Does your mom's dad,
Yeah, he had a great set of hair.
Rico?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had
I
good
knew-
hair.
I knew we used to live by his Nono's place.
Oh.
We lived a half block down.
My mom and
Yeah, my mom and
Everyone
my
lived
sister,
around there.
my sister
Everyone
and
lived
his
there.
mom were best friends.
Come on.
Yeah, like a small group of
What?
friends. And we lived half block away. And his Nono, my dad used to go like pick fungi, like go and make
That's
wine
mushrooms.
and mushrooms, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
For those that don't speak
yeah.
Italian.
This is
Yeah,
like
so-
you're speaking English, but I'm not understanding.
yeah.
That's cool.
So yeah, we lived half a block, literally half a block, and I used to hang out with your Uncle Ricky when we were kids, and so small world that we live in. Sometimes we ended up bumping into each other, and it was Matthew because of the different last name, or your dad's last name.
Yep.
I didn't know, and then he ended up telling me. So yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, long story.
Yeah.
And we're talking
great story.
50 years ago, long time.
Long time. Yeah.
Anyways.
Eva
yeah,
G.
great head of hair.
Yeah.
That's what you want. That's where I'm
Absolutely.
gunning for.
Yeah, my mom, my grandpa, he had a pretty good head of hair
Yeah.
as well. So I think I'm in a pretty good spot.
Yeah. So my mom's dad, right? He was
Yes.
bald. He was bald.
Oh, really?
And I have two cousins that have been follically challenged. But
So is this scientifically proven? Or is
No,
this just
I
like
think
things
it's
that people
the-
say?
it is the oldest wives'
Yeah.
tale, because it continues to go generation to generation. I don't know genetically what exactly it is. So that's what I mean. Sometimes it works.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't. My dad had a full head of hair, but he's got brothers that don't. 3 did, 2 don't. So I'm not sure exactly how it works.
Eva G 1 year before photos, second grade. She's like, "You need a haircut." I had a mullet back then,
Yeah.
like classic
Yeah.
late '80s, early '90s mullet, and I didn't go. I hated haircuts, so she's like, "I need to cut your hair. You need to look nice," and she tried to just cut nice straight bangs for me.
Yeah.
And you could see it in the picture. It dips down.
Really?
And I'm like, what the hell did you do to me?
That's funny. My boys, my oldest, he's almost 25, and he had his mom cut his hair. My wife, till recently, he just didn't want to be hassled with going.
Yeah.
to
I'm
get
telling
his
you guys,
haircut.
Chantel,
Yeah. Where does Chantel work?
she owns Exalte Le Salon.
Oh, of course.
Right
Well,
off
listen,
of
I
White
got an
Ave.
Italian guy.
Go to the French girl. She's awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of Italians that cut hair, right? It's like going out for Italian dinner. You're like, ooh, where do I go.
Which one do I go to today?
Because you
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
want to offend
Other families.
Yeah. So same with lots of Italians cut hair, including a buddy of Fernando Pisani's, Alex Hannes. He cut my hair on TV when I got a cut for charity.
Okay, yeah.
And he's like, come see me, you know. And then I go to like the neighborhood and cut it. So I have to try and be better since I'm on TV. But anyways, it feels a bit liberating to have everything gone. The one thing I will say, every year when you only get a haircut once a year, you guys are still young. There is accumulation of gray that you notice when you
Every
get a
year.
cut once a year. You're like, whoa, that seems like more than last year. So
You guys don't have
I've
any
got a
grays,
couple.
right? Do you?
Distinguished.
I've started to see a little couple
I
of
got
grays and stuff
a few
coming
in the sideburns if I let him
you're
go.
40?
I'm 42.
well,
But
that's-
like my dad is 63.
Yeah.
And-
He still has dark hair.
well,
Yeah.
that's
So that's
bravo.
a positive sign
Bravo.
too.
HR
Yeah.
daddy, very nice
HR,
man.
HR
and
daddy
HR mommy's awesome
has that
too.
taken care of.
I'm
so
not
that's-
afraid of
What
the.
about your?
My dad's got. He's still got some color in there.
You say you're
He's
not
in his
afraid of losing
60s.
your hair. or
I'm
going
not
gray?
afraid of going gray. I'm afraid of losing the
But
hair.
if you got a good, if
I
you got a
think
good
you're
head,
okay.
silver
Yeah.
fox coming in and sharp over
I
here.
think
like,
it's going to look good. Like that, I'm no problem with. My cousin's got grays and he looks good. And he's only a couple years ahead of me. But it's just always, I'm always afraid of the baldness.
Yeah.
That one, I just.
I got a buddy who's been going bald for about 12 years and he's fighting it hard.
He is, eh?
My buddy Boom, he's a beauty.
Oh, Boom.
Well, you know Boom.
I know Boom.
Anyway, he's fighting it hard. Like he's trying different things.
There's
and
some things that can
yeah.
Yeah,
fight
you
it.
can, I mean, you can get like a surgery or you get a shampoo or there's a
Yeah.
bunch of
Yeah.
amazing all the advancements in medicine technology that there isn't something that
Yeah.
is a little more foolproof. Yeah, I but nowadays too, like thanks to Mark Messier, I would say, shaving your head,
It's
right? Like
cool kids do it.
Yeah,
Some
yeah,
people
yeah.
look, it looks great on some people.
yeah, some people carry
Some
it
people, they
very well.
crush it.
Yeah.
We had a guy shave our because we took down like the lowest buzz cut you could, grade 9 basketball. It was kind of like it was a hazing back then. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
like the grade 9s on the team, all the grade 10s shaved our heads.
Oh, they like in sort of a
We were
room
on a
at one
road
time?
trip in one of
Oh.
our rooms.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Let's go, boys." And I was just like, it doesn't change my hair. Like,
Yeah.
I basically have the head. But one guy had longer hair and they shaved his head and and he had the worst shaped head of all time. We're like, "Oh my God, look at your melon." Like it came up like this. And then, so I felt bad for that guy. But
Yeah.
it
a lot
was
of guys
like-
carry. What the guy? He's martial arts, done a bunch of movies.
Randy Couture?
Yeah, he looks like Randy Couture.
Okay.
What's the guy's
Jason
name?
Statham?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he looks.
He's badass.
Yeah,
He looks
Oh,
good.
yeah,
right?
he's-
Like
he's
that's-
got
We
it
did a
down.
bald guy draft at the old station.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
I
Did we?
remember that.
Of course we did.
Yeah, we did.
Who went?
I said, did we?
Yukon was in it?
Joaquin
Oh,
was
then
in
I
it?
don't think
And
I was
Gager
there.
was in it.
Yeah.
I don't think I was on that
And
one.
then,
Yeah.
yeah, you were. This was in the commish era.
I think this was pre-commission.
No, it wasn't. You were in there. You were in that one.
I have
And-
all this. I'll have to look.
Yeah, you look it up. They like you and Gager didn't win.
Yeah.
Or did
Wow.
Gager win bald guy draft?
I don't
I have
know.
a
I can't
feeling
remember.
just remembering that Gager did, and he looks good.
Yeah.
Bald. Like he's got. Yeah.
Yeah,
he
Gager pulls
carries
it off.
Yeah, he
looks good.
does.
He carries
Yeah.
it. He
absolutely.
carries it
Like
well.
I can't imagine looking
Well-
at you both.
I
just
had a
can't do
shaved
it.
head.
Yeah.
Did you?
I used to buzz it. Yeah, when I was at Nate. Remember? Oh no. Yeah, it was the first year when I was your studio runner.
Wow.
I had it shaved.
I like. Oh yeah.
it was just like
very
buzzed,
short.
really,
Yeah, yeah,
really
very
short.
Yeah.
And then finally
Yeah.
I got to Lloyd, and I was like, I
Yeah.
need to grow my hair back up.
Yeah.
Twitter's not showing anything for bald.
Man, we did.
When I tweeted it.
Eric knows we did bald guy.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that was before
yeah.
me though.
No, I thought you were there on that one.
Because Uke was there. I remember that.
Oh, I was on vacation.
Yeah,
Maybe
you're on
that might have been the
vacation.
one I was on vacation.
Maybe you're on vacation.
Remember? Okay, this is funny because it reminded me of something. And Scalding Gord texted in something that was funny. So remember Zach from Bell that
Yeah,
we used to work
yeah,
with?
yeah.
So Zach, in my first year junior B with the Red Wings, Zach kind of would like, they'd keep him around, good glue guy, and then
Yeah.
they'd cut him by January.
Yeah.
And so we were at our rookie party, and rookies like rarely make it to the bar, and I was teetering, right? Like I was one of the last guys standing, and they're like, "Hey Tom, you want to come to the bar tonight?" I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Shave Zach's eyebrows,"
Oh wow.
Oh,
and
no.
I got one clean off. He was
Was-
passed
was
out.
he passed
he was
out?
He was passed out. I got
No,
one.
you and Zach were buddies, though. I mean,
Yeah,
this is-
we've been
yeah.
friends
Yeah,
since
yeah.
we were like 8 years
Yeah,
old.
yeah, yeah.
I shaved one off completely,
Oh.
and then I started laughing, and I only put like nicks into the second one. And I'm like, I'm done.
And what did he think when he?
He laughed. Actually,
Because you're
he called
friends.
me like 2 days later.
Yeah.
He's like, "Did you shave my eyebrows?" I was like, "Yeah."
Well, it took him 2 days.
They
to-
made me. The vets made me.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Well, I had to shave the other one off because you would only put a couple of nicks in it." And I was like, "Yeah, I could."
Yeah, well, seeing him over a decade later, they came back in nice.
Yeah, he's a redhead, so
Yeah.
that's what made it even funnier.
And how long did it take for eyebrow to?
A month.
I don't know if you could do that nowadays. If someone complains,
I know.
someone
Oh,
would-
I don't even think you could do that nowadays.
I don't even
Yeah,
think
close.
you
that
might-
would be a hazing of
Yeah,
some.
that would
for
be,
sure.
Yeah, that would be
Not without
fun.
full consent type
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
Zach consents to
Like
it.
the shaving of our heads
It seems
in high school basketball, like I look back on it now and like I know opinions have changed on a lot of that
Yeah.
stuff.
I think that could stand.
Yeah, like that one I still
Shaving your head.
I mean, we were all it's not like we held somebody down
Yeah, no,
and shaved
that's-
their heads. We're like,
that's different.
hey rookies, we're gonna shave the heads. And,
And
we were all like,
everyone-
okay, yeah, let's
okay.
do it. Like
Yeah.
But a lot
So
of
you
younger guys,
consented.
they go with the buzz cut. That's kind of a look
Yeah.
often
Yeah,
as you
yeah.
grow up. No eyebrows that you could get mocked for.
Yeah, that would be a
while for
tough
that
one. No
Zach-
eyebrows would be
Zach's
tough.
he's a ginge.
Yeah,
So like you're like,
But
you
but
don't have
for
eyebrows.
nowadays,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
nowadays, that's where like I think you could easily get away with still.
It's
You
incredible
gotta
the amount
shave
of
your
texts that
head
are coming
type
in
thing.
about all of this right now.
Yeah. Yeah, we I don't know, we've been talking hair with Principe for 20 minutes. I love it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you're right. Nowadays, kind of, I don't remember, all the different teams I played on, and I never played any high level.
Yeah.
Maybe soccer a bit high level, but I never ever remember any hazing ever. And I mean,
That's
I'm,
good.
I'm talking, I'm 56, so I've been playing sports almost 50 years. I don't ever remember anybody getting hazed, which seems
Like forcefully
unbelievable. Yeah,
forced into something,
I
right?
don't
Like,
ever
yeah.
remember anything like that. I know that. I mean, nowadays, the world is always changing. I think the haircut. Now, I love that you guys didn't hold somebody down
Yeah,
and shave their
no.
head. That would have been.
I mean, if the one guy knew what his head would look like, he probably would have tried to fight it a bit. But there was 3 or 4 of us grade 9s on that team. And we just thought, okay,
Yeah.
like we want to
Yeah.
be a part of this
Right.
team.
Sure, that
Like,
you
let's
wanted,
do it.
You
Like,
want to do it.
Yeah.
You want to do
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Tommy Rubella texts in 780-218-9999. The draft was in the commissioner era, but Iwanyk wasn't there that day.
Okay, there we go.
Gager did win.
Gager did win it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that.
That was nice.
Scalding Gord. Rashog right now is screaming, what are we talking about? Can some of it be about sports? And then where's Lieutenant Eric? Because he needs to be part of the hair discussion.
Oh, yeah, right.
Apparently, I pay for being hurt too. And my hair is real, according to Scalding Gord, but I wear fake eyebrows.
Oh,
Fake eyebrows.
That's
Oh,
what
your eyebrows
Scalding
are great
Gord-
too, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you.
you
Thank you.
wear fake eyebrows?
Evidently,
Oh, no,
Scalding
it's
Gord
all
says
real.
so.
Yeah.
It's all real.
Neil texts in and says, I'm a bald male. I'm trying to find a place to get a discount. I pay the same amount as everyone else and have half the hair to cut. So I just do it myself. Excited for the game tonight, but maybe not so much about the hair discussion. Cheers, Neil. My dad still goes and pays for haircuts, and he's just got like
Reno,
little-
just this.
And I'm
yeah.
like, just take a number 1 or 2 and buzz
Buzz
that.
her down,
Let
yeah.
mom do it. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
no, like, because the girl does it. The scalp massage. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh.
I got
That's
an
gross.
Uncle Tony who's got, excuse me, the old skullet, right? He's like early 70s,
Yeah.
and it just sort of builds up. And then, but you can still tell when he gets a haircut. So he still has enough there to, can you tell when Reno gets a haircut?
Yes,
Yeah.
but only because I'm like, oh, you got
So there's still enough there that warrants the cut, and
Yeah.
you can see it when you, like, I think lots of people who are bald just, trim it down. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no point in going to pay $55
Yeah.
tax.
A
or-
$15 tip.
Plus
I
tip.
I base my tip on the
That's-
conversation, not the haircut.
Yeah.
It's easy to cut my hair. If I have a good conversation
Yeah.
with somebody and I'm like, hey, I kind of like this
you
dude.
don't
See, I
have
like-
a person.
No, I go to Mr. Bobert next to the mall, Mr. Barber. And
What was that?
Mr. Bobert. It's a French version of it.
That's not French.
But there was one guy in there one time, he wanted to talk NBA.
Oh.
So we talked NBA for like
The
25
hairstylist,
minutes.
Yeah.
And I ended up tipping him pretty good.
Oh, okay.
But then some days I also don't want to talk
Yeah,
to
yeah,
anybody.
yeah.
So I don't know. I guess it's the mood I'm in.
It's kind of like what I don't go for massages very often, and like the massage therapist was saying, you can kind of gauge what the person wants to talk about or not, right?
Yeah.
Some people want to go for a massage; they want to relax, they don't want to
Yeah.
hear a word. Kind of like cutting hair, I guess.
Yeah.
Some people just want to sit there and
Get
just
it done and
cut.
get out of
yeah,
there, right?
just
Yeah.
get it done
Yeah.
and get out of there and not solve the world's problems.
It's Monsieur Barbert.
Oh, yeah.
Monsieur.
Sorry. Monsieur Bobert.
Bobert.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. That's my bad.
One text comes in and says, hey, boys, just to let you know from yesterday, this is directed towards you.
Okay.
The Thirsty Camel has bite-sized donairs. Check
Oh,
it.
okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. We were talking about that yesterday. Bite-sized dipping donaires. Brilliant idea. That's good to know. Thirsty Camel.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
There you go.
All right, Maddie.
Dustin Nielsen, Gene Principe, Tom Gazzola, Matt Iwanyk with you here on the EST Hangout. For those watching on YouTube and listening online, at edmontonsportstock.com. Paris Jewelers inbox 780-218-9999, or you can jump into the nasty chat. By the way, the $15 is because I did it I went to him right as COVID was about to start, or like right when before, and then he got me in after. And I gave 15 as like a kind gesture.
And now you're stuck
and now I
with
don't
it.
want to go
Yeah.
back because I go see the same person every time.
You set the standard.
I
got a guy,
I have to see the same person.
Is it,
I like
is it
having.
worth $70? Like, do you
I
feel
have no problem. Like
Every
I think he does
month,
a good job.
man,
I think he does 4 weeks. 1 month. There's-
4 weeks.
Well, there's 13 or whatever.
Wow,
Right?
you're real
So are you
particular.
booked in advance?
When I leave, the last thing I do before when I'm
book the
paying,
next
I book
appointment?
4 weeks.
Wow.
From there.
I do
I
that.
should-
To
I
keep
should
it nice, and I kind of want it to be where people kind of don't know when I get a haircut.
Did you book a haircut today for like October 7th, 2024?
No, I didn't. I knew it was about. I knew it was about a year.
Yeah.
But when she said, "Oh, it's been October 18th,
Yeah.
2022," is when I last went in. Yeah, I just convenience is more. You're right. I kind of feel like when people go, "Oh, you don't have someone who cuts your hair." When I worked in Winnipeg, my cousin cut my hair. And since I came to Edmonton, no Chantel's or Alex's or
You're missing out.
If you're going once a
or-
year, I'd be the same though.
Yeah, I
type
mean, once a
thing.
year.
I need to go to the same person
How
all the
often do you
time
go?
for.
Once a month.
You do.
I'm scheduled for the 18th. When you said, "Hey, do you book your appointment for a year from now?" I was like, "Oh, when's mine? It's next week."
Yeah, next week.
Yeah.
And sorry, what is are you able to tell what Chantel charges?
Yeah, it's
Or-
like 31.
31.
Yeah.
And the
Oh,
tip
that's
is-
less than I pay at
$6-7
Monsieur Barber.
Yeah,
That's,
Chantel's awesome.
yeah.
But she used to do, before COVID, she used to do like the scalp massage, shoulder
yeah.
massage. But
She cut that back.
yeah, it's cut back.
Well, because of COVID and the,
Yeah. So
understandable.
This is my thing, and she gets so mad at me because she's like, "You make me use a new razor every time. I like getting the neck hairs trimmed.
Oh,
You know,
Okay, yeah,
I just like it." And she's like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "You're the one who started this. I just like it. It feels good, nice and fresh. Feel the breeze on there." Yeah,
it does feel
Chantel's
good.
like very reasonably, but I'm one of her few like male clients, mostly
female,
women.
yeah.
Okay, all
and-
right, yeah.
Yeah, she's got a lot
That's
of
good,
regulars.
buddy.
She's
Well,
booked
it's
up.
amazing. Well, you have a wife. I don't think you guys are single as
Yep.
far as I know, but yeah. I
Great
gotta
date
do-
last night. I'll tell you. I texted you about that
Yeah,
yesterday.
you did.
You text him about your date yesterday?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we talked.
Gene's trying to just enjoy a nice night at home with the fam and all that. And
I'm on a
Tom's
date.
texting this info on this date.
Tell them who you, or are you gonna tell anyone?
No, not right now.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
Yeah.
The
And
right
when, it's
second
funny
date.
when he said date.
Second
I'm like,
date.
oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, you're on number 2.
No, that was the first.
He's going on.
Oh,
a
I
second.
see you.
So you got about 3 left?
Yeah. Yeah,
Over,
that
under.
punch card's filling up quick.
Punch card.
Free date.
Punch cards. You get
It's
free.
over.
You got a free date to
Talk to me in
6-1.
a week. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's good. Dating.
No,
just
it was
seems like
great.
100 years ago.
Yeah.
When you've been married, I don't know how long you been married.
This will be 14 years in 24,
Yeah,
so 2010.
And how long were you together before that?
We were together for a year, got engaged, and then got married a year later. So
Okay,
2
so-
years.
yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
quick.
Yeah, that is pretty quick.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing else to do in Fort Mac besides get engaged. so that's what we decided
How
to
did you
do.
meet Tammy?
We were at the bar in Fort Mac, Patty McSwiggins, and I was
Sounds like a
carrying
Fort Mac
around another teacher in my arms like a baby.
A guy or a girl?
I know a girl.
Oh, okay.
And she saw me and then came up and talked to me. And then that was it.
That impressed her that you
I
were
got
doing
married to
that?
her. Well, because of my strength, right? She was so
Oh, I
impressed
see.
with
Yeah.
my arm strength that she's
Yeah.
like, man, this is a real man right here. I think I also had about 9 Coors Lights lined up on my table too. I was
Nice.
really kind of giving her. And then, I mean, the thing is like in Fort Mac, like there was a bunch of like teachers up there who move up from like Edmonton and stuff to
Right.
get jobs.
Yeah.
And I think they look for like people who aren't going up to site. Like I worked like kind of a regular
you were
job, right?
A normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it worked out pretty well.
Wow.
So, but yeah, dating was like I don't even know how it is for like these guys. Like
wow.
we went our first date was we went to the movie Leatherheads.
Oh.
And Leatherheads is one of the worst movies of all
George
time.
Clooney
and Krasinski.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I was just like, I thought that was it. I was like, well, she's not going to want to
Yeah.
go out with me again. I took her to Leatherheads on our first date. But yada, yada, yada.
Here you
We
are.
got 2 kids and we're married.
Yeah,
so
that's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, that was good. Yeah.
Good story.
Where's Belsey? Isn't Belsey supposed
He
to be
said he was
Yeah,
going to
it's
be
supposed to
here.
be about 9:30.
but,
What time is it now?
9:47.
Yeah, I got it.
Who booked Belsey?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was going to blame
got-
you because he was late.
No, I
No,
got Uncle G.
Yeah.
I asked
Thank
Belsey
you
on
for coming
Saturday,
in,
and he
by the
says,
way.
I'll be a little late, 9:30 or so. So, although someone in the nasty chat did wonder if he's on Tommy time.
I hope I'm not that kind of influence.
Why are you late?
Apparently,
Yeah,
I'm
you're
always
pretty good at the rink. I'm a late guy.
Oh, so you're good for the
yeah.
rink, but not for work.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I would say you're good
How
at the
many
rink.
shows have I missed?
Well, you're not missing shows. I mean, I would hope nobody misses a show.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a, I don't know. It's close.
Hey, you're coming in hot.
Actually,
coming in
you've
hot.
Oh, yeah,
you've
I
been
have
late.
come in
You've
hot.
been
Yeah,
late
that's
on a
right.
couple
You
shows.
You know what?
You've been
I
late.
came in hot a couple times
Couple
last
times,
week.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm forgetful. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Do we get to business here or what? Or
Yeah,
do
let's
we
talk-
keep
sure.
the
Let's
silly
Let's
talk
talk
going.
Oilers, man.
For you two, because you guys are at the rink. How's
Yeah.
the feeling around that team? What do you were talking a little bit earlier about what you think that they feel a little business, but
Yeah.
for you being around that team right now,
And Lance
What's the
also,
feel?
wants to know, ask Gene if the locker room is any different to add to Maddie's question.
You know what I would say in the last few years, I would say we felt fans, maybe media, that the Oilers could win the cup. And I would say this year, the feeling is the Oilers should win the cup. It's just, sometimes it's hard to describe a feeling
Yeah.
because it is a feeling and not something you sort of visually can, hey, look at this. Oh, wow. But you go in there and from Connor to Zach Hyman to Leon to Jay, I mean, anyone we've talked to, even the younger players, it's kind of weird in some ways that they're that focused already at the final prize. And I thought Leon said something last year, other than cup or bust,
Yeah.
which will live on. And I don't, Jay Woodcroft to me is a master. When I say manipulator, I don't mean that in a bad way, but button pusher. To me, he does a great job of getting in here and in here. A lot of the physical stuff, they got it, right? Connor McDavid, these players, they'll get 3% better, 5% better, whatever the number is. I would put it on a T-shirt. I'm not sure I would show anybody. There's Belsey. Maybe you wait till the Stanley Cup playoffs. But I would love to see cup or bust on a T-shirt by somebody at some point. I don't know, and Shawn can tell us because he's tried to win the Stanley Cup and had the opportunity to do it. We're talking about Leon, cup or bust, and that quote. If you put that on a T-shirt and you wore that around, maybe not during the season, but maybe you started wearing it at the beginning of the Cup Finals, would that be undue pressure? Would it make a difference? Does it make you think of what you're trying to do? I don't know.
I definitely think it adds pressure,
Yeah.
for sure. Because now every time you see it, you're like, man, this is our mentality.
Yeah.
It honestly reminds me a little bit of my second year in the World Juniors. Right, we had Phaneuf, we had Weber, Crosby, Bergeron, Perry, Getzlaf, so on and so forth. The year before, we lost in Finland. So we all knew what the goal was.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about it, but there was just this common bond where we all knew. It was like, hey, we're super focused. We know we don't need extra stuff to motivate us because this is what the end game is. And we went out and we obviously did very well. So it's a similar situation where the Oilers know what happened. They know why they lost. Now, do you need that extra motivation, or is it, hey, we correct this, and now we can get to the Stanley Cup final and put ourselves in the best position to win?
Well, I just quickly jump in, and I guess individually speaking, I don't know. That might work for 8 guys and not the other 12 or 13, depending on how many they have in their roster. But when Leon said that, but the other thing that I was leading to before I went on the T-shirt tantrum there was that, Leon said this felt like a wasted year, right? Mm-hmm. And I get that because you put all this time and energy as you have into a season, and then what do you got to show for it? Out in the second round. Now, this year we'll find out if it was, I don't think it was wasted, but really if you're the Oilers, I mean, winning the Stanley Cup, I mean, if they got to the Cup final, would they be satisfied? I'd say no. 2 years ago, I'd say yes. But the everything's getting higher for them, and they're at as high as you can go, and that's winning the Cup.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a situation where, like, I've heard the conversations lately. That happened in basketball, where it's like, well, you failed because you didn't get to your ultimate goal. Mm-hmm. But I think the process of winning, you have to go through different things so that you can gain that experience, so that you understand okay, well, I made this mistake here. Well, now I've got to be able to correct it, and that will help get me to that next step. And I think that's part of the maturation process with the Oilers right now, is that they're seeing like, hey, like we lost because of X, we lost because of X, we lost because of Y. And now we're going to correct those things. And one of the biggest things that we've all talked about is their defensive game. In the playoffs, you need to have a defensive game. I don't think you need to be first place, but you can't be 30th, right, to be able to advance in the cup finals. So, if they can clean that up, the goaltending gets a little bit better. You have the best offense. So now all of a sudden this is a recipe for success.
Have they gone through every lesson except for losing a Stanley Cup final? Or can you just make the jump? I think the answer is yes, to make the jump from losing in the second round last year, losing in the third round the year before, to winning a Stanley Cup. I think the answer is yes, but do they need any more? Have they learned enough of these lessons? Because it seems like it when we talk to them and we're in the room.
Like, what other lessons are there to be learned,
exactly.
basically,
I mean, they've
besides
kinda,
potentially losing in the Stanley Cup?
final? Playoff scarring, as Jay calls it. And I think Jay's got such a good mix of old and new. He won't tell you the starting goalie, but I think he's really innovative in his understanding of what makes the modern day player tick. And so I think he's able to get those points across. And I love what he said yesterday, sitting in the Oilers Hall of Fame room, which we've all been in. And he said, the standard is set. All they got to do is look around this room. There's the legacy.
Yep.
You walk into the dressing room. Yeah, it's not the Stanley Cups, but there's 5 cups there as you walk into the Oilers dressing room. You see that every day. So that is a reminder of what you're trying to achieve. And I thought what Connor said yesterday, you were talking about offense, and he said, hey, people think I'm all about numbers, and I get that. He goes, but I'm as excited and I feel just as good when I'm in my own zone and I make a good play defensively. And I thought, wow, like, again, would 22-year-old Connor have said that? Probably not. Doesn't mean he didn't feel it. But now when he says it, I'm thinking, yeah, you know what? The guy's all in. And I just think, to me, I don't know, I've never been a captain of a team at any level. And I don't know if you guys have, and Shawn, in your long career, but I just feel like he really, really is a leader now. Like he grasps it, he understands it, he appreciates it, he wants to do it. Where maybe when he was 19, who are you going to give the C to, right?
Yep.
And so, I mean, they're dialed in. I can't see them. Part of me is like, how can they not win the cup? How can they not win it? But there's lots of things have to happen. And I think, Bells, you were saying about why they lost that series. When you ask them, when they come back, it's not like huge, big, monstrous mistakes. Just the little things.
It's a game of inches type thing.
Yeah.
You fix up those little things, and that's the big difference when you get to that level, when you get to that point of a season. When you're talking about, going from 32nd to a playoff team, naturally there's a lot more that goes into that. But
100%.
that little jump just to get from conference finals to finals, even, it's just that little bit.
Yeah,
different.
it's you think back a couple of years when Colorado won the cup. Like, if you watch Colorado play, every single time they had the puck, or even if they didn't have the puck, it was like full throttle. Like, when you watch them, you're like, that is a fast team. Not only are they fast skating, but they move the puck quick. They're decisive in their movements, and they go hard, and they make you earn every step. And like 2 years ago, could you say that about the Oilers? Last year, you look at Vegas and the series between the Oilers and Vegas. Well, a lot of people are saying that was the actual cup final.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so now what was the difference in that series? Like, you could argue goaltending was one, but there were certain points where the Oilers were pushing the pace, they were physical, and then they would come off the gas a little bit, and all of a sudden Vegas would just take over. Why? Because they played the same way. No matter if they were down 5-0 or if they're up 5-0, they played the same way, and that's what championship teams do. And that's part of the process as well, is that you can't change the way you play just because you're up or down. It's got to be the same way, step after step after step, and then all of a sudden you're just wearing teams out. And if you're the Oilers and you got a fast team, well, like, let's be full throttle and let's make teams chase you, because how tired you'd be after chasing Connor McDavid for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, no, thank you. So that to me is like one of the biggest differences when I watch teams play.
Well, one of the things I like about Jay is take care of the day is one of his mottos, right? And it's true when you think of just this process of now the preseason's done. You've got 82 I mean, you're hoping to play 100 to 110. You know, you're going to have to play over 100 games.
Yep.
And it's so simple when you take care of the day, but it's true. It's take care of the day, and then the day turns into a few days, turns into a week, turns into a month, turns into All-Star break, turns into, So I mean, I don't know. I remember the glory years as a kid walking down Jasper Ave, enjoying those Stanley Cup. Before the actual parades, but the Stanley Cup celebrations. And it 1990 is a long time ago now. And we're trying to have people remember and build new memories, not just on YouTube, of what the Oilers once were. And I think they're set. I don't think there's anything else to do other than win the cup. And I know that's a lot of pressure, but I think they have the right leaders to handle that pressure and kind of disseminate it, spread it around, split it up. And I'm really excited. And I know other teams are, but they're built for it. They're built for it now, for sure, in my mind anyways.
Yeah, I'd agree. Do you think they need a couple players at the deadline? Do you think they need one forward?
Yeah, I think kind of like a Nick Bukestad type
Yeah.
move.
Who is this year's Nick
Everyone just keeps
Bukestad?
talking about Bukestad. And
You know
it's just
why?
funny
'Cause-
how it's like it's just made like perfect.
Yeah.
Gene
just such a good
loves
fit.
Nick Bukestad. I remember talking, and I went
I
to
really
go
did
meet
like
Nick
Nick.
Bukestad, say hello. I'm Tom from TSN 1260. And I'm like, I'm sorry for interrupting. I want you to talk to Gene because he's the nicest guy.
Tom's very good that
And
way, yeah.
Nick, he laughed and he knew. And then him and Gene were kindred spirits for the rest of the
I
playoffs.
really like Nick. I mean,
Yeah, he was a very
he was
friendly guy.
talking about how his kids were so excited. They were so excited not about the playoffs, but having Hunter at one of their birthday parties. And I thought, oh my gosh, so he state of Minnesota, the state of hockey. I mean, as sort of Canadian as a non-Canadian could be, I guess. If that
Outside of
makes
Like an
Buffalo.
11th
Yeah.
province almost. if you
yeah,
will.
yeah. Buffalo's another place where you go and you feel like you haven't really crossed the border. And I thought he was a good fit. And, he got a 2-year deal in Arizona. So I get that at this point in his career. But I think just a tweak, right? They got Ekholm.
Yep.
And so I look at their defense and I just don't really see anything needing to be done there.
Oh, you haven't read Twitter lately.
Well, what do they ask? What do they need?
Broberg is this. Ahart is that.
So you know what?
Gleason.
I think you're the perfect guy to talk about Broberg because you were a later, I think 30th overall.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So like Philip, not that late, but later, and you had to kind of find your way, figure out whether you could be in the NHL or not,
Yep.
and what you had to do. I mean, what do you think of his development?
Well, I think he's on the right path. Like you can see every year he takes a little bit of a step. I think he's just got to be able to find that confidence and understand like his strength is skating.
Mm-hmm.
So every time he steps on the ice, like at some point he should be skating, like if that makes sense to you, like whether you're skating the puck or you're using, your feet to get away from a oncoming forechecker. Like if he can just bring his elite trait, then that will help him gain confidence. And that's one of the things that a lot of young defensemen do. They try to figure out how do they fit as opposed to just using their skill set and then allowing it to grow and then, to help their game. So there's always a step back. Like, I mean, I know when I turned pro, I was a very offensive defenseman when I came out of junior. And then it was, okay, well, now we want you to be super defensive. Well, I don't know how to be defensive. like I am in the play every single time. But
And
now
you had
also-
Jacques Lemaire, right?
I had Jacques Lemaire, I had
Yeah.
Kevin Constantine.
Oh, yeah.
I had some serious defensive coaches, and it's like, well, maybe don't do that. So now I have to figure out a completely different style of play. And for Broberg, like I just think that he doesn't have those coaches, and so just use what you have right now to help grow your game to get more confidence, and then I think you'll be fine from there.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big topic of conversation. I think it was the 2018 draft in Vancouver. I believe is when he got drafted. 2019.
Yeah.
I don't know. He seems to be better, and I think we were so many of us were around when it was like first round pick. You're playing in the NHL. Or a lot of times first overall pick or third overall pick or fourth overall pick, which is more natural. He's later. They haven't had to rush him. I think he definitely deserves X amount of games to kind of see where he's at home. Matthias said that, just what you said. He said he can skate. I tell him, skate.
Yep.
Like, skate. That's a big strength of his. So I'll be curious to see how the lineup looks going into tonight. And of course, I guess that leads us to our starting goalie. I'm not sure who it'll be. Jay said, watch Sportsnet or buy a ticket and see who comes out first. So I don't know if it's an open competition who's won it.
Well, it's how much should Jay Woodcroft take into preseason into this, or how much does last season still play a part of this too? Like, if you guys were, well, you coach nowadays, not at that level, but you know, if it's only about preseason, or if it matters, shouldn't Campbell get the start tonight?
Yeah, I mean, the NHL or pro sports in general are the biggest. What have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
Right, leagues in the world. So right now, what have you done for me lately? It's Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
And last year, to me, doesn't matter because we've completely flipped the page and we're into a new season. Guys have had opportunities to go home and rest, recover, get healthy. You know, mindset's different. So now you're coming in and it's like a clean slate. Now, let's be honest, if we're coaches, like it's always in the back of your mind where you're like, okay, well, if this goes badly, I'm going to flip the switch very quickly. But right now, based off what you see, like you almost have to go with Campbell because he's just been that good in preseason.
This reminds me of the Golden Knights series where Campbell was playing better than Skinner when he was making his appearances. When Skinner would get pulled. If it was based off of preseason, it has to be Campbell.
Yep.
But yesterday, Stewart, when we were at practice, was in that starter's net. And I don't know if Jay's throwing deception already. I don't think he is.
I don't know.
But he might be. He's got us on our toes. You master manipulator, as you say.
I mean that in a good way. Like,
no, of course.
I could see Jay. I mean, it's very unscientific. Just for people who are watching or listening. I mean, basically, first goalie off the ice is your starter. And I mean, I'm actually surprised that more coaches, not so much maybe the opener of the season, but more later in the season and into playoffs, that they don't do the old switcheroo where you have no idea who's starting.
I think it's moot point now. Like, they have the book on every goalie.
Yeah.
There's so much videotape on them. You know where their strengths and weaknesses are. You know their recent numbers. You see their game logs. Like, I think it's silly, some of the stuff that the coaches do in general. I'm not pointing at Jay.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of, chicanery that goes on.
Well,
How do you spell that?
I don't know. It's French.
how much does it change a game plan depending on your goalie? Does it?
No.
Yeah.
Like, for me, it doesn't matter. Like,
Shoot high blocker instead of low
make
glove.
them move east-west,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like we talked about the Royal Road. Well, the percentage of you, when you move that puck east-west or over the Royal Road, increases the opportunity to score by like 30%. So most coaches be like, make a move east-west.
Yeah.
Get eyes in front of them.
Yeah. Well,
It's the same coaching still.
It's the same coaching, right?
So
It hasn't changed.
I agree with you and disagree with you because I agree. There's so much information.
Yeah.
Right. But why tell someone something they don't know? So
That's fair.
This is a very, very local. So I brought my daughter's team. They got to provincials. We're in Calgary, and it's smoky. So the first two games were played. The third game goes straight to penalty kicks. Okay. So you're okay. And you guys, you could tell me.
So
as
there's no
coaches.
games.
No, there's
They
no
just went
games
to
because of
penalty
smoke.
kick.
Yeah, you had to.
Oh, yeah.
Here in
So they
Edmonton,
need to finish that off.
unfortunately,
Okay.
here in Edmonton, it was so smoky all weekend. They just went to penalty
Okay.
kicks. But
Wow.
okay, so your teams are out doing penalty kicks. Okay, now imagine a shootout for hockey. Okay, you're coaching. It's a shootout for hockey. Your shooters, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to shoot like the kind of shot that they would shoot because the other team's watching, or would you not? And what do you want your keeper like? Do you want them beating your keeper? Do you like? So I was like going, I'm not sure, like because they're warming up and everyone's watching each other. So what do you want them to do? Do you want them to do what they're going to do when the penalty kicks take place in 5 minutes, or in a shootout for hockey, or not? Or you want them to do their B move because then they're going to have their A move. So I was like, I mean, this is just fun, even though it feels like pressure at the time, but it's not an NHL league. What would you do as a coach? What would you want them to do? Would you, I don't know what the answer is. And so that's why I agree and disagree. Let them figure it out. Let them figure it out.
Yeah, let them figure it out. I mean, man, that would be unbelievable coaching where I just have to show up and go into a shootout.
Yes.
That would save a lot of gray hair. I can tell you that right now.
Yes.
That'd be wicked. But outside of that, I mean, like if you're in a shootout, and you come in, you do your warm up. Like, well, I want you to warm up the goaltender. Like,
Okay.
you know, a lot of, especially at the younger ages, guys go in and they don't have the understanding of warm ups.
Right.
And they are ripping pucks and it's going off collarbones and it's going off heads. And you're like, guys, like, we love our goaltenders. Can we just not do that? So I want you to come out, maybe like, you know, put a couple into his glove, let him feel the puck, and then you can maybe, you know, pick up the pace a little bit and what you're actually going to do. But I 100% would not go in and do any kind of shootout move.
Yeah.
I would just, you know,
Save it.
save it for when it's real time, and then go from there. But if everybody's watching, you can't tell. You can't give a tell of what you want to do.
Well, I'm curious about this. So we all hear about pre-scouts and stuff. So so if you're Vancouver and you don't know who's starting tonight, what do you think their coaches are showing them or telling them about the two goalies?
Yeah, like, so one of two things. You can either have, you know, video clips of both goaltenders, or you basically have like your game day packages that you guys have all seen.
Yeah.
And then you have your stats. So you have a picture of a goaltender and you say, okay, well, you know, Campbell allows this many goals in the blocker side, this many goals glove side, you know, and you kind of just detail what his strengths and weaknesses are on that little report, and then you just post it in the locker room.
Wow.
And then you do the same thing for the other. And then now if, okay, well, I'm going to look, Campbell starting. Okay, this works on him more than it would work on Skinner.
Oh, okay.
And that's an easy way to do it.
Yeah, interesting. Because we're in that room and you hear about, you know, pre-scouting and this and that, but I'm never quite sure what that actually entails, how much information is spent, particularly on the goalie. And then you've got special teams,
like
5-on-5.
You know, pregame meetings, you can watch a video on the goaltenders. You know, you'll get the goaltending coach in there. He'll talk about, okay, well, he's big here. He's, you know, his east-west movement maybe isn't as strong. You know, maybe he's a blocking style goaltender. Maybe he catches and swallows everything. So you're going to have to, you know, make this one small adjustment if it's that goaltender, small adjustment if it's the other goaltender. You know, so they're giving a lot of information. So it's, you know, they're picking a lot of these goaltenders apart. But obviously, once you get into a game, some of that disappears out the window. So visual, different cues, you know, the visual side from the video, visual from like looking and actually studying a piece of paper with the goaltender there, you know, can all help just kind of sink into the brain a little bit.
The Oilers do take to the ice in Vancouver at 11:30 Pacific, which is 12:30 Mountain. Tommy, you'll be on with Dusty with the Oil Stream, so keep it tuned right here at Edmonton Sports Talk. And as soon as we find out who that story, if we find out that there's a starting goalie at that morning skate,
I would
we
love
will
the
pass it
come
along.
off together.
Yeah.
Didn't they do that in 06? Didn't Mac T screw around?
sure,
I saw Mac T again yesterday, by the way.
Oh, yeah. He's going to be on the panel with us on
Yes, he's
excellent.
on Sportsnet.
That's awesome.
He's great.
Yeah, he is.
He's
Can you get him in here?
of course.
I think so.
I think,
Yeah,
We gotta try it
I
one
think
day.
I talked to him about it. I can't remember. Did I?
He
I
would
might have.
be, you know.
I will ask him.
I mean, having Shawn was on the panel with Sportsnet, and it was great to have. You know, one of the great things about we can talk, the three of us, and I know you play Junior B, right?
Long live the Red Wings.
Right. So that's much higher level than I played. So that you have your experience. No, but I mean, you still have some experience of that. But I love.
Can we not in front of Shawn, please? But thank you, Gene.
I think one of the great things about panelists, and Shawn was like this, is not talking too much about yourself, but enough that we understand, right? You just how you pre-scouted for us. I've never been in a pre-scout.
Yep.
Now you've explained to me what actually happens, or when you're up a goal or down a goal, or you know, and that was a great thing that you were able to do. And Mac T covered, you know, checks all the boxes: player, coach, general manager, Stanley Cup winner, offensive player at one point in his career, defensive champion, winning the face-off to win the cup for New York. And so, anyways, it would be great to have him here for a roundtable. And I mean, the stories he would and could tell of his time as head coach.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah. Great man. Great.
a little
hockey
more
man.
unfiltered here.
Yeah.
Yes,
Also
for
on the
sure.
Hangout.
Yeah.
Could let loose a little bit
You have
more.
a Mac T story?
No, but you know what's funny is that, you know, we've got within our company over at Silent Ice, we've got Ladislav Schmid.
Yeah.
You know, he's been with Mac T for a number of years. So there's more and more stories that are starting to leak out. And the funny part is that Sean McTavish, actually works with us as well. So we're all sitting in the locker room, and then all of a sudden Laddie will go on his soapbox and he'll start chirping Mac T.
Because Mac T didn't like Laddie.
Exactly.
You traded him, remember?
Yeah,
He
I
was
know.
telling me one story the other day where he felt that Laddie was a little bit soft and made him do a 500 cal bike test and sat next to him on the bike eating chicken. And then Laddie crushed a test and he looked over. He's like, I guess you're not soft. And then he just
that's
walked
funny.
away.
Yeah. Well, Laddie obviously keeps himself, as you guys
Yes.
you see.
Yep.
He's in really good shape. But yeah, Mac T, I mean, one of the things I hear from maybe not Laddie, but a fair amount of players, that a lot of them will say it was the best coach they had. And I don't know that. My own personal Mac T story was he was very inclusive with people. And when the Oilers beat Anaheim in 06 in the conference final, and I was doing some live hits for Sportsnet, sort of like would do a live hit and then off for a bit. And I'll never forget, I'm in the Zamboni and he walks by and then he comes back. He comes up to me and gives me a hug and he says, "We did it. We did it." And I thought, holy, I haven't done anything, but man, I feel like I was a huge part of the Oilers' run to the Stanley Cup final. And I really like that about him. And part of that had to do with longevity. Mine to some extent, certainly his. You don't, other than John Cooper, you don't get coaches that are around that long.
No.
That's a long shelf life for a guy back then in a cap or non-cap era where he had a $30 million salary on his team. Teams 60, 70 more. So anyways, it'd be great to get him on. So we've done the
his
promo
teams are
for him.
always hard workers.
Yes. Yeah.
They always
Yeah.
put it out on the line
Yes.
and just had that grittiness to them.
Yeah.
I remember we'd be on the plane. God bless Yanni Nienema, who put himself on the line a lot for the Oilers. And I remember we were on the plane. One of the discussions we had, I went to read-in week with kids, and one of the kids said, how long do the players sort of suffer after a loss? And I said, it's a great question, because I never understood what was the right amount of time for someone to sort of be despondent about the loss, but then move forward. And I remember one time we were on the plane, and we're lucky enough to be on the plane, and Mac T was glaring at the back, just watching the back, just to see what was happening. And I think poor Yanni Nienema, I think he went to go ask somebody for a movie. Back then, the guys had their little personal devices. And oh, Mac T just... I don't remember exactly. I kind of had my head down. Poor Yanni, like he just was the guy, because Yanni played hard for a lot of years and a lot of minutes, as you know. So, but Craig is incredible, and I look forward to working with him on the panel.
Yeah, he's really good at creating relationships, right? And bringing people in. And that's what I think coaches need to do a better job of, is just creating relationships, because then, guys don't quit as easily, or you're able to push them a little bit more, and guys want to play for you. And that's the biggest thing, if you're creating those relationships. And he's fantastic at doing that.
Yeah. And I think that's what Jay is doing modern day, even though people have, back then there were no devices, attention spans, I think, were longer. But I think Jay's really good at that. And going back to Mike Smith, I still remember when he was here a couple of years ago, and Jay was fairly new, and they were asking about Jay, and he said, you go into a meeting and you watch a video and you come out and you go, he's right again. He's right again. Like, even though you might go in, especially at that point, Mike's 40 years old, right?
Yeah.
Been through a lot of coaches and situations, thinking, okay, let's see. He's right again. And I just thought, from a veteran player who's been to a conference final, who's played for various teams, who's got lots of experience, that was the old stamp of approval in my mind, and it continues for Jay.
IMAC texts in 780-218-9999. IMAC says, I hope Woody has learned from last year. I called him Smugcroft. Became very arrogant, and the who's in net thing is just one example. That's from IMAC. He's been very pleasant this training camp. He changed in the playoffs last year. I think that was completely deliberate.
Yeah, and I mean, I honestly, when the playoffs, and to me, this is like Smugcroft, I think, is a bit extreme. Jay is not to a fault, but to the nth degree protective of his players.
Yes.
Soon as someone says something, well, people believe, well, who are these people? The other day, I don't know if you were there, Tom, someone asked him about, I think it was actually Mark, I can't remember what the question was. Critics or people believe, well, who are these? Who are these people? It was about the way they
he'll
played.
needle back if something is kind of.
And I like that. I actually like that, because if he's not going to protect his players, then what's he doing up there?
100%. Daryl Sutter used to do that all the time down in Calgary. There's tons of sound bites about how he's pulling attention away from his players, putting on him. You know, some people agree, some people don't, but like
You have to find a happy medium.
you
though.
find a happy medium. But you know, a lot of coaches will do that. They'll take the bullet, right, as opposed to allowing you to direct it at their team. So, especially in the playoffs, if you feel like he's changed, well, that's 100% by design, because now you're saying, well, we're pulling it all away from the team, and you're, as a coach, you're taking all the heat, and that's part of it, right? So that's, to me, that's good.
Yeah, I agree. And I think in the playoffs, listen, these guys are trying to win a Stanley Cup. I virtually, not that I don't care what they do, but I think it's pretty much available to do whatever you want when it comes to protecting your team, helping your team, pushing your team, motivating, whatever it is, deflecting from your
remove
team.
all the distractions possible, right? Like,
yeah.
Jacques Lemaire, back when I was in Minnesota, like we would stay in the hotel at home. Like he was like, "This is my time.
Yeah.
Nobody else's time. So you think you're going to hang out with your family? Think again. You're staying at the hotel. At home games, because he wants to remove every distraction, and that's what these coaches are doing now.
And in St. Paul, very sleepy.
Oh man,
Very
Yeah,
sleepy.
St. Paul's, kind of a quiet. I remember Sheldon Surrey beaming about Jacques Lemaire and how Jacques helped him in New Jersey and just really molded him into someone. He's always going to have the big slap shot and have an offensive capability, but that he really taught him how to play defense and how important it was to play defense. So I think I'm a big fan of Jay's. And listen, the numbers bear it out. You can listen to me or not, doesn't matter. You look at his record and where he has his team. I think he's, we did a preseason sort of poll of who do you think is going to win, Art Ross and the Hart and all that. And I'm not saying he's going to win the Jack Adams, but I would be surprised if he's not in the final three by the time it's all said and done. And has a really good shot of winning it, I think.
One of the problems I have with the Jack Adams Awards, it seems to be that it often goes to the coach who took a team from nowhere last year and got them to the playoffs, as opposed to looking at like who's done the best coaching job, and they don't look at the top coaches sometimes. John Cooper's never won a Jack Adams, and it's like you can't tell me John Cooper hasn't been one of the best coaches in any of the seasons last couple of years. But they always look at, look at this team we have. And I wonder if that's going to now impact Jay going into this year. Is that, he's got Connor, he's got Leon, but look at team, X here that just made this big jump to the play. Ottawa's all of a sudden big playoffs, and everyone's now all on board with them.
Love DJ Smith.
And that bothers me sometimes with the Coach of the Year award, because to me, I don't feel like it's always to the best coach that year. Yeah. It's the most improved team almost.
I'd agree with you on that one. That's you're 100% right. But I mean, like for a guy like John Cooper, how he hasn't won is outrageous.
Right?
Right? Like you think about everything that he's done, guys that are sitting out, superstars that are sitting out for the entirety of the year, and all of a sudden they're back. Like you still have to figure out a way to get these guys into the playoffs. So I do think you hit the nail on the head where they've got to be able to expand what they're doing and, allow some of these coaches that have these top end teams to win this award, because you're leaving a whole group of guys out.
John Cooper was twice a finalist. That's it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you where he was.
He's only been a
Who did he
finalist
lose
twice. 13-14. Let's see if I can find who won that year.
So 13-14, he was just starting out, right? That would have been either, I think he's what, 10, 11, 12? I mean,
That was Patrick Waugh.
Oh, okay,
So that
with
was when
Colorado.
him and Colorado they had that
monster
unbelievable
year.
season.
Okay.
And then the other year, which was 18-19, Barry Trotz with the Islanders. I'm wondering if that's Trotz's first year there. Like
18-19,
after
that
when
was,
Tavares left, and
They
they were unbelievable that year.
were, yeah.
But then in all those other years, not even a finalist for that. I think last year they got. I think it was
Montgomery.
with Boston.
Yeah. And,
Which it was like that was the right one to go with then, because.
Yeah,
but
him
they
and-
had to do an absurd thing.
Yeah, they had
for a coach to
history-making
get that.
season to win, and then look what happened to them. So, I'm curious to see what happens tonight and what happens over the next 6 months to get him into the playoffs. And I just, we were talking earlier, Belzy, before you came by about the feel in the room and the conversations and the words that you're hearing and what you're seeing, and Connor Volin telling everyone, hey. Get back here and get going. And I think that's one of the things that Connor has really developed into the work ethic has always been there. When we talk to kids at Read in Week, or when you're dealing with kids at your school, or hockey at Silent Ice, I mean, one of the things I always tell them is that Connor's like the hardest working guy in the team, and Connor in high school was an honor student. If there was anybody who didn't need to be on the honor roll, I think it would be Connor McDavid, likely going to be drafted high and likely make enough money to take care of him. But that's the kind of guy he is, motivated to succeed. It kind of never stops with him. And I think he's so driven that, people, I always picked the Oilers to win the Cup, even back in like 2013. Just because, I just feel I'm an Edmonton guy. I got to pick the Oilers to win the Cup.
I love you, but come on.
I know. I just could never kind of go away from the team that I covered. But I have a hard time betting against him. It's tough for me to say I don't think that Connor McDavid's going to do what he wants to do and that the Oilers aren't going to win the Cup. But we see.
And what's wild about that is that doesn't even bring Leon Draisaitl in this conversation, right?
Yeah.
So if you're already thinking about this team with Connor and now you add into the mix Leon Draisaitl, that's why this team has so much buzz. That like there's just two unbelievable players at the top of this team leading this team.
Yeah, elite, and then Connor Brown looks like he's going to be really good for this club. That's the offseason piece that I don't think they need to worry about at the trade deadline. So that's why I'm curious how you cut out the noise. I always hear that. And you had some talking about winning a gold medal after not winning one in the World Juniors. I don't know how you cut it out.
How did you guys cut out the noise? I mean, that World Junior, you were on the best World Junior team of all
North
time.
Dakota?
Yeah, that was North Dakota year. I mean, honestly, we kind of just cut it out ourselves.
Yeah.
Like it was. I don't know if there's been a team that I've ever played on in my career where it was we look at each other and it's just like we're doing it.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's nothing needed to be said, nothing needed to be posted. Everybody just knew.
Yeah.
Like you weren't worrying about what's going on in the media. Like this is ours to win and we're winning it. And it was just the mindset that everybody had because we felt so bad losing that, and then coming home was even worse because you're like 18, 19-year-old kid, and every newspaper's like, you're a choke artist, and you're like, okay, this is awful. I got to escape it because I played in Tri-City. But for like weeks on end, there was consistent debate about what was wrong with the World Junior team because they hadn't won in like 5 years. And when we all got back together in the summertime, it was just like, boys, we're not taking this for granted.
I mean, when I listen to you, if you could just take out World Junior and put in Edmonton Oilers, don't you think when you're in the room?
There's a lot of similarities there.
That is just, I'm listening to you, and if I haven't heard the conversation up to this point and you just start talking, I'm thinking he's talking about the Oilers.
Yeah. Do you know when I noticed this kind of attitude shift? I don't know when it was for you, but being around the team every day, somewhere around mid-January, they went on a nice heater and it went for, you could still have fun with them.
Yeah.
But like the stress had been alleviated because they had found their rhythm.
Right.
And then the attitude, the demeanor, when you talk to them on camera, off camera, with the mics on, with the mics off, it was very consistent. And I think it's remained that way. It may be heightened after what happened to them in the playoffs, but it has been like this mindset. It's not blinders, but it's like, this is the goal. This is the goal. You can make jokes with them, but then it's like, okay, we got to talk about this. I'm out.
I
See you
think
later.
what you said, we're doing this. Like Connor looks at Derek Ryan, or Derek Ryan looks at Stuart Skinner, or Stuart Skinner looks at Brett Kulak. We're doing this. And circling back to the Cup or Bust T-shirt, if that's the case, you don't need any T-shirts.
Yeah, you don't need the T-shirt.
Because Cup or Bust is written on their faces and in their conversations all the time. And I really, we have to sit here in 6, 8, 9 months, I guess. We got to wait a long time to see if we're having the conversation about how they were able to tell each other we're doing this. And that really, Shawn, it was like you've been in the room when you say that, because that World Junior team who had its fair share of stars, it was a lockout year, correct? This team has its fair share of stars. So sounds eerily similar, and let's hope that they can do what you guys did.
Yeah, I mean, I think they can. They have the horses to do it. It's, it'd be pretty hard to look across the locker room and be like, hey, I'm going to let Connor McDavid down.
Oh.
Like the way that his mindset has been coming into the season, and you know what he's going to do work ethic wise on the ice. Like if I'm a guy that's on that third or fourth line and I get on the ice, I'm not taking a shift off because I know that these two guys are going to absolutely give it to me when I get off the ice. And that's not them trying to be jerks or whatever. That's just saying, boys, we're not accepting mediocrity. We are going for the cup. And so you're just going to elevate everybody's game. And Tom, you touched on it where it's like you can joke around with them, but there's still that mindset. It's just like a focus. It's a focus. When we get here, we're going to work. And when we're done, okay, maybe we can, lay off a little bit and we can have some fun. But like anytime we show up at the rink, it's full throttle.
Go.
Well, Luke Gazdic, who was on with Dusty last week.
Yep.
And when we were one of the,
He's a weekly.
He'll be on every Thursday.
Yeah.
We're doing
Thursday,
a lot of work on the panel.
He worked
Sportsnet
last
this year.
night. He worked last night with Jamal Mares and David Amber. One of the COVID, I would go to Toronto and work in the studio and work with Luke, which was kind of neat because you're not just working. You might see us work for 4 or 5 minutes in intermission or 8 or 10 or whatever it was, but you sit there for 3 hours watching the game. And I love the stories he would tell about when you're a fourth line player in his case, third sometimes, and you're playing with Derek Ryan. I'm going to use Derek Ryan. He gives you a pass and you fumble it. Yeah, sorry, Derek. Okay. He goes, but when you're playing with Connor McDavid and he gives you a pass and you fumble it, when you get back to the bench or maybe he's like, hey, you got to be better, right? And he was like, it was great. The little bit I played with Connor, he goes, but like, it was like pressure because you couldn't make the mistakes and get away with them like you might be able to with a quote unquote third or fourth line center. And I thought, wow, like, interesting that he would put it like that. And we saw Connor attempt to help Jesse Puljujarvi on various occasions where it's kind of like, hey, Jesse, kind of like you got to be better, right? Yep. And Jesse, so I hope Dusty's not listening through the door.
He's over it.
My tires have been slashed already.
Yeah, he does that too.
So he's pushing, and I agree. The better the player you play with, the more pressure you put on yourself, and the more pressure you feel probably from that player. And that's why sometimes you watch a player and they look okay. You put them on a better team or a better line, they look way better because now height and awareness, and you know that better than me. So. What time is it?
It's 10:30.
Man.
Oh, wow.
It's been flying by. Shawn Belle, Gene Principe, Tom Gazzola, Matt Iwanyk with you here. I am wearing the Edmonton Sports Talk hoodie.
Nice.
Do just want to mention that our store is coming out soon. Next
Is that online?
It
Just
will be
online?
online. EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Yeah, okay.
We'll be able to do some different things.
Okay.
Don't worry, Gene.
Hey, little side deal.
Sean might not get anything, but that's for
He's
a different
already
story.
got stuff.
Oh, that's right. We did give you some stuff.
you gave it
but,
to me before
I
you
might
found
have
out I
to-
was a Finns fan.
I have no issues with the Finns.
Oh yeah, there's
I
beef
actually have
here.
no issues with the
There's
Finns.
beef right now.
here.
Yeah.
If you want any shirts done, any
Ravens,
merch done, the
Ravens
Hive
fan.
Product Marketing, check them out. They are official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Promotional products that bring the buzz. Check them out at hiveproductmarketing.com. Maybe they could get the Cup or Bust shirts done up for the Edmonton Oilers
I
if
still
they
like
want.
that. I still like that
hiveproductmarketing.com.
idea, even though Sean has kind of talked me down.
Well, maybe we'll take it and we'll add it to our store.
We can
and
do it.
we'll
The
sell
players
it.
can't.
I didn't have the guts to approach Jay. Hey, Jay, for a guy who's,
I have an idea.
I have an idea. Maybe
What do
I'll
you
just
think?
keep that to myself.
Go to the training staff. Be like, Langer, Harry, Cup or Bust T-shirts.
Yeah. We
When
see
you
what-
do them, I want one because it's my idea.
But Jay, Jay had this George Mumford in. I shouldn't say Jay had him in. The organization had him in, and has written books, with Phil Jackson and Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, and a motivator. And they spoke about it, and Jay was asked about it. And Jay was kind of like, I don't want to talk about that because that's
Internal.
ours,
Yeah.
And I've seen things that I'm like, wow, that would be a great story. But, last year when we were in Washington early in the season, and Jack was kind of finding his way, it was a bit of a difficult time, and walk into the rink and TM Gene, I see Jay and Jack Campbell having this great conversation, fist pumps, shaking hands, like this is not father-son, but kind of like that, and I thought, well, this is fantastic. So then I went to Jay and I said, I shot this. I said, what do you think? And he said, I prefer you not use it. I'm like, fair, no
Yeah.
problem. Not going to use it.
Yeah.
Because he's been nothing but helpful. And so I'm like, not going to use it. But I still have that memory of how he dealt with Jack and how he really kind of, and you coach to understand but push. I understand, but I got to push you right at the same time. You can't just understand and leave it at that. So I think that's what makes Jay a really good young coach in the league.
Yeah, you can't just push all the time
Right.
without the understanding of
Right.
it, right? Like,
Well, look at the Flames.
it's exactly like you have to be able to give a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. You come in there and you start barking orders and you say, "This is me pushing all the time."
Yeah.
Well, at some point, like the Flames did, they're saying, "Kate, enough's enough,"
Push
because
back.
you don't really care about what we have to say or what's going on in our lives. That's why you see a lot of coaches that are old school. They don't go very far. They don't last long because of that.
Yeah, I agree.
So I have to bring you into a little debate that's going on here.
Bring it on.
Yes, let's get it.
The Rouge in the Canadian
Get rid
Football
of it.
League. Keep it or get rid of it.
Oh, I feel bad. First of all, I feel like I'm at confession here with Father Iwanyk, but I have fallen off the CFL. You know what? As a kid, I was in the Knothole gang, went to all the games. As an adult, come home, watch them, and I've kind of fallen off that. I think though you got to keep it.
There we go. That's all that matters.
I think you got to keep it.
why
I'm a
you
bit
can
of a
leave.
traditionalist.
Why?
Thank you.
Why
You can
do you got to
leave.
keep it?
I don't really have a reason for
Doesn't
it.
matter. Gene
Yeah.
Principe said it. Are you going to sit there and tell
Uncle
Gene he's
Gene
wrong?
said it.
Are you
That's
going to
right.
sit there,
Yeah.
look Gene in the eyes, and be like, Gene, you're wrong?
Yeah.
Gene, you're wrong.
Gene,
That
you
thing's
are
gotta
wrong.
go.
Well, you talked me out of the Cupper Bus T-shirts.
Yeah, no.
You might be able to talk me out of this.
Basically, what Tom's argument was, and I got into this secondhand, and now I feel like I'm fully invested.
Yeah.
in
Well,
it.
there's beef.
There's
right
beef
there.
now because Maddie was slinging fire on this
What do
show.
the Cardinals matter? Like, they can just go away.
Oh, they're irrelevant.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
fully
so
aware
that's
of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So essentially, we equate the Rouge
Yeah.
to a participation trophy
CFL socks, by the way.
because those are wicked socks.
Those are awesome.
Because you kick this, you kick the ball and you mess up. So either you kick it wide,
Right.
you don't get the field goal, or you do something wrong and you can't coffin corner it.
Yep.
And now you're rewarding this kicker for not doing his job with a point. To me, that's like
Yeah.
the definition of a participation trophy.
Yeah.
And if you were James Harrison, you would rip that thing up and get rid of it.
Yeah.
So
And on top of all of that, what was I going to say?
Go to 4 down. You're just ripping this league.
And one more thing.
Let's
I know what the other thing is.
football.
I know
Let's
what
go
the other thing
100
is.
yards.
I got it.
Let's
I
go
got it.
fully
Help our
Americanized.
case
I
here,
blanked
Tom.
there.
Full Americanize it. Let's fully Americanize
The
it.
rugby argument.
That's what it is from.
Garbage. Get rid of that stupid rugby argument. This is football.
That's what it's from.
I know, but like we've evolved in the last 105 years of Canadian football. So this, but it's rugby.
Well, that's just
It
explaining
was
the roots
rugby
of it.
105 years ago. Now it's, hey, wake up, smell the roses, and do it right.
Then, because no one would start a football league nowadays and start with 3 downs. They would go to 4.
Right.
see, but
So, why aren't
But
we
we're
then?
not starting a league. We're building.
Okay,
we're
so that's-
making one that we have had for a long time and love better.
Well, and some people would argue that the 4 downs makes it better. So the
No,
Rouge,
because
like
the
the
field
4
is so
down,
much
like
bigger.
the 3. Well, then maybe change the field too. Like you guys are wanting to ruin this whole
I-
Canadian
well,
team.
no,
You
By
can
getting
shave
rid of the
5 yards
rule-
off the end
just
zone.
by
getting
Thank
rid
you
of
very
the
much.
Rouge.
Rouge.
The Rouge?
You want to
Thank
get
you.
because what did Gene say when he said keep it? It was the tradition of it.
Yeah, he's trying to
for
make
me,
you
it's
Been
feel better.
around for this whole
Okay,
time.
so with that being said, I like the CFL.
Yeah.
I just feel that the Rouge, and that's the only thing that I would like to change about the CFL. Bye Rouge, because I don't like failure, because that's what happened. You kick this ball, you can't coffin corner it. Coffin corner
Well, you
meaning
can't coffin
it's at
corner
the
it.
1, and
Yeah.
then it bounces out. Now you've trapped the team. That's a skill set that punters need to have.
Yeah.
You kick a field goal, you miss it, you shouldn't get a point. That's just my
You can
thought
still
of
go
it.
for
Like,
the coffin kick.
the coffin kick, great.
It's still there. You can still go for it.
You can still go for it, but like you're rewarding this guy
Yeah.
that if it bounces in
Into
and
the
then
end zone.
it's into the end zone, you get a point. Like to me, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Well, then why does the team get to just jump forward 20, 30 yards when it goes in the
Well,
end
it's
zone?
tradition.
Well, that's like it's just good. Like if they're getting a
That's
reward,
my boy.
why don't you have to return it out?
Well, like you're not getting reward. You're starting at the
You
20 yard line,
Well,
25
instead of the
yard
1,
line.
why don't we just make it always at the 1? If it goes in the end zone, you start at
Well,
the
then
1.
let's do it. Let's get wild like that then.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
I'm just happy that Gene, like everyone we're talking to, Gene said keep it. Everyone else I keep coming up with says keep it. It's only like you two.
Yeah, that want to get rid of. I mean, Who knows? One day they may.
We just have common
change that,
sense. That's
but-
all.
Yeah.
Oh, you just said Gene doesn't have common sense.
Gene has common sense most of the time.
Almost always.
99.9% of the time, he's got common sense.
Yeah.
Right now, none.
Point one, no.
But you know what? While we were speaking loudly, Gene was in agreement with us.
He was nodding his head.
get
He was
your
like,
argument.
I know what you
It's
mean.
kind of like what I said to Tom about starting goalies, and like I agree but disagree, and I agree with your argument, but I disagree with changing it.
Fair.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, Kevin
Uh-oh.
in the nasty
At least
chat.
you're trying to bridge the gap.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
A
I've
bridge
no-
builder.
I'm
Peacemaker.
I'm a bridge
Maddie's-
builder.
Maddie's not
I'm
building
just
any
burning those
bridges.
bridges completely. Let's go. Let's fight type thing. Oh, I also have this whole thing. Me and you we're gonna have a tilt for this too.
Yeah, apparently. So the Dolphins won, and I instantly put something on Twitter where I was like, "Hey, how did your team do?" And just back and forth again.
Yeah.
With him.
Yeah.
Well, but you beat the Giants.
Okay. And
The
who'd you
Giants.
guys lose to?
The Steelers better
They're
than the
awful.
Giants. Better than the Giants.
The Steelers are rebuilding. They're awful. And
You're
you guys
never
couldn't beat
rebuilding
them.
with Mike Tomlin.
Like your receivers can't catch anything.
Speaking of
can't.
coaches and messages, wow, how long has Tomlin been the coach?
Yeah.
He's an unreal coach.
He must be.
I don't think he's been below 500.
Yeah, the 1 year I think he went 8-8, I think it was, or something like that. But that's an unbelievable coach in that kind of city too. Like
Yep.
the
That's a
Steelers
high
with their
pressure city.
What is it? 3 coach? I remember Chuck Noll,
Yep.
who was the legendary coach when Terry Bradshaw and Lynn Swan and Stallworth and Franco Harris and all those guys. But yeah, to be a coach that long,
3
is
8-8
unbelievable.
seasons. That's it.
3 8-8.
He's been the head coach since 2007.
wow.
Jeez.
And yeah, I would have to try to see when Chuck
You
Noll
do not see that
started.
very often in professional sports.
Yeah.
Well, like,
And it's that franchise that it's just unbelievable. Chuck Noll was the head coach starting in 69. So from
Until-
1969 until 91.
Wow.
So from 1969 till now, the Pittsburgh Steelers have had 3 head
So
coaches.
here's a question for you guys. Do you feel that professional sports has too short of a rope for coaches? Because like
Yes.
guy comes in, right? You get hired. Okay, you got to implement what you want, and then you got to see your change, and then you've got to now see reap the benefits of that. But at 3 years, if you're trying to completely turn an organization around, is that enough time? Because that's what a lot of contracts are.
Right, yeah.
It's less than soccer on nowadays, too.
Yeah, well,
if you go in
nowadays-
Europe,
I mean, Napoli, they just
they're-
won the Scudetto, and they're thinking of firing their coach because their coach went to the national team. And
Yep.
so
he's got like a month in,
Yeah.
and they're firing him
yeah,
because it's not going well
you
to
know
start
what?
the year.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Shawn, that you have to be patient. I know myself, if I was a GM, which I'm not, or making personnel decisions, I'd have a hard time not overreacting. And I think being patient is, I look at Billy Guerin, the former Oiler, and he's run a good program in Minnesota there. Like, they're a really good team, but right? And he preaches patience and more patience. I don't know. Yes, sometimes, and no, sometimes. You've seen some coaches probably last too long.
Yep.
But I think overall, it's an overreaction as to a reasonable reaction
Yep.
when it comes to shelf life for a coach. But I get it. You're running an organization. You're the owners or you're the GM. You're next. You're not making money. The stands are empty or half empty. I got to do something
Yeah.
now, right?
Yeah.
I got to do something now. But I'm sure there have been some really good coaches that never had a chance to find their way because they didn't
Yeah.
have the right time.
it's an argument we're making in the National Hockey League right now and the WHL to a certain extent. Guys that should be getting a chance, not because they're retreading
Yeah.
guys that should be gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I just, but boy, I don't know what's the right amount of time. I mean, for a while the Oilers were paying, I think they had like
They
were paying like 3 coaches.
McClellan, Aikens, and Nelson or something like that at one point,
They
or
had Quinn at one point.
or
Was
Ralph,
there
yeah.
Rennie? Ralph.
Yeah, like how many?
It would have
paying
been
Ralph, Dallas, and Todd. I think it
I
was.
mean, Mac T was a coach for almost a decade, and then
Yeah.
it just, Quinn came in, and Dallas came in, and Ralph came in, and it
go to the
just-
football
Todd came
side
in.
too.
Oh yeah,
Over there,
yeah.
you've gone from Danny Machocha winning
Yeah.
the Grey Cup, from him to Richie Hall to
Right. Oh,
You know,
Richie Hall, yeah.
the Richie Hall was I don't know if
Who took
Kavis
over?
Reed.
Oh, yeah,
Kavis Reed.
Then you go to Chris Jones,
Yeah.
then Jason Moss, then Milanovic, who didn't coach.
Oh, right, he never
And
coached.
then it was
yeah.
Jamie Elizondo.
Yeah.
Now Chris Jones
And
yet
that,
again,
I
and
guess,
that's
is
since 06.
Wow.
And that's where this question comes in, because every one of those coaches you just mentioned has a different style. So now you're going to go in and maybe some of the personnel doesn't fit. So now you've got to wait for a season to transfer out some of that personnel and different contracts. You're not just going to get rid of guys. So then how do you get that team that you actually want and the picture that you believe is the right one?
Yeah.
If it's 1 or 2 years.
With your Dolphins as a fan, how much?
This is
Because
a
there's
perfect opportunity to talk about this.
all right, but how often as a fan did you how quick were you as a fan to say go out, fired? I want that
here's
guy
a
gone
perfect
or whatever it
scenario.
is.
So you had Brian Flores, who I think he's in the Steeler land right now as a defensive coordinator, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So Brian Flores came in. He was a hot coach coming out of, I can't even remember which team he was with previous to the Dolphins.
Was Patriots?
Was it the Patriots? Yeah, you're
Was he
right.
special teams or
defensive
something?
coordinator at the Patriots.
Yeah, right.
So now he comes out. He looks at the Miami Dolphins. He obviously implements a pretty decent defensive system, but on the offensive side, he doesn't see what other offensive-minded coaches would. So you've got Tua as your quarterback that you've basically tanked all year for, and he says, "I don't want Tua. I want Jordan Love." That just came out recently, like 3 days ago, that at the draft he was pushing for Jordan Love at 5. Well, we all know that's probably a mistake at this point. But during the season and parts of his 3 years that he was there, he wanted to bring in Deshaun Watson instead of having Tua. So he's sitting Tua, he's playing games, doing all this stuff. Now McDaniel comes in, who's an offensive mind, understands and sees the talent that Tua possesses, and says, and basically molds this offense to what Tua does and his strengths. And now all of a sudden you see a historic offense. So that's kind of my point, where it's like this coach values one thing, sees one thing, builds the team in his vision, and then all of a sudden he doesn't have enough time to do that. You flip the switch, you got another coach believes something completely different, and now we're going back the opposite way.
But as a fan, how quickly over the years do you because the Dolphins have made those changes with coaches, have you as a fan been like, get rid of that guy? Because I know
I would say
Manchester
twice.
United as a fan, there's been many times over the last I'd wait 3 years and it's finally get rid of. I need someone new here.
Yeah.
But 3 years isn't that long. So
No, it's not.
How long do you?
I would
could
say
you typically? Because Dolphins have had some bad years.
They've had some real bad years. I would say the year that they had Ireland as the GM, and I think it was Tony Sparano. Sorry, not Soprano.
God bless
Hey,
Now, that would have been a move.
That would have been
Hey.
unreal.
Yeah.
He had a very
about
tough
it.
go. I think that was the year they went 1 in 15
Yeah. Do you know
or
who
1
they
in
beat?
16. Who did they beat?
Yeah, my Ravens.
Yeah, weird.
It's the only team. My Ravens also gave a really good challenge to the Pats that year.
Yeah.
That they almost
couldn't
they
beat the
lost
Dolphins,
to the
though.
one, but yeah.
Yeah. So that was 1 year where we're like, okay, it's probably time to fire him. And then obviously the Flores years, those were just like, I want to put my head through this wall every single time they play. Because their defense was good,
Yeah.
but their offense, like, my goodness.
I love watching defense though. I'm a big.
It's
defensive-
awesome. But at the same time, like, you're watching the Dolphins play and they're running all over the field. Like, I literally could have a bag of popcorn and that thing will be done in 2 minutes because Tyreek's going to go off for a home run at some point. A-Chain's going to go off for a home run at some point. Waddle's going to do the same. Mostert's going to do the same. Should the list continue? Because it will.
Mostert better keep going. I have him in fantasy.
Yeah.
I need him.
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
him to
Now you
keep
want to
it
get
right.
on this bandwagon, hey?
I drafted him this year right from the start, so
Yeah.
I need him. I do need him. By the way, that nasty chat message I wanted to get to from Kevin. The origin of the Rouge is to punish the team for not returning the kick out, is to promote more play and more action. Keep it. Thank you, Kevin.
I understand
How's that
that,
going for
but
them?
it doesn't
Thank you,
happen
Kevin.
that way.
Kevin, how's that going for the league
Yeah.
right now?
Exactly.
You just don't know.
It's going terribly right
The
now.
only people wanting the Rouge gone are you two.
Yeah.
No one else does.
Once again,
we're
common
a
sense.
quiet minority.
Yes.
We're not loud and abrasive about it. Only when we're given a platform.
You guys are
to
you're the
air
one
our
that brought it
opinion.
up.
Yeah,
Actually,
because
today
we
you brought
provided
it
a
up.
platform.
But
Yeah.
this all started because he brought it up.
Oh, okay.
How often do you get your hair cut?
I
missed
don't
the meat
know.
and potatoes.
You missed the whole like
Whenever I
first
get look at myself in the mirror, be like, man, you look awful.
Yeah.
That's
So what's
usually
that?
what I get.
Once every.
Once every week.
Does Linz do it, or do you go
No,
somewhere?
I do it myself.
Oh, you do it yourself, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
and what's the number? Like, is it like a buzz? Is it like a?
Is it a 2?
Yeah.
Give yourself a 1.
So is
I
it
would
long
do
right
like
now?
a 1. This is long for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would do like
yeah.
a 1.5.
Ooh.
Yeah. I try to give myself a fade, but I basically just go bald. So, just keep it all one length, short, neat. Try to get the lines right.
How long does it take you to cut it?
If I let this grow out a little bit longer, probably like, 15 minutes.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
That'd be
It's
nice.
all about the styling and edging. I probably should go to a barber and make myself look good, but I'm too lazy.
You
for
look
that.
good, Belzy.
Thanks,
Yeah.
buddy. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you
got
carry
you.
it well. You
Yeah.
carry
Thank
it
you.
well.
Thank you,
Long
guys.
or short.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Calgary Glenn via the text line 780-218-9999. Thanks, Gene, for that story with Jay and Campbell. I'm not surprised Gene has that professionalism to ask if he can post that or not. I think it's important that the team keep some things internal and not have everything in the media. From Calgary Glenn.
Yeah, and you know what? I think in this day and age where so much is public, there are some things that need to be left behind. And as you know from playing on teams, from covering teams, you do see some things, and you're thinking, "Wow, that's a great." The public would love to know that.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
the team doesn't want the public
Yep.
to know that, and that's cool. With so much that's available nowadays, I think we get insight into so many things that we never used to have, even when you played, Shawn, which isn't 30
Wasn't
years
that
ago.
long
It's not
ago.
that long
No.
ago, right?
Yep.
So I mean, that's speaking of building bridges, right? Like, I'm blowing up the bridge if I just run that.
Yeah.
And Jay goes, what the, like, because he didn't know. It wasn't like he saw me and went and continued the conversation. I still would ask, but at least he might have come to me and said, "Hey, were you shooting that? Please, whatever it is."
He would watch because he does watch.
Yeah,
He's got like 17 burner accounts.
You got to be respectful of people at the end of the day. And so, anyways, that was a small story. Jay's helped me out with lots of things where he didn't need to help me out and said, "Hey, this is going on, or we're doing this." So, that's nice of him to say. And I think not everybody's like that, but that's how you sometimes get scoops and get things on TV or on social media that normally wouldn't get there if you're always asking, "Can I do this? Can I do that?"
But your TMGing is phenomenal.
Well, I love one of the great things about phones is being able to shoot video. I didn't,
How can you say that after having a BlackBerry up until a year ago?
But it was great. The BlackBerry was great. Like, I tell my kids, my wife's running elections and I'm like, do videos and stuff. My kids have these great phones, but they're never able to kind of turn that great video into a link that we can then use or post. One of the great things, not to get too technical, Tom knows this, but I'll shoot a video, I'll turn it into a link, and I'll email it to the people in our truck, and there it is, just like that. Click, and we've got video that I can use. And so it's made my job a lot maybe fulfilling. I don't know. There's so many things you go, "Oh, I missed that. Oh, I missed that."
You don't miss anything.
And when Tom was at Oilers TV, they were very helpful, as they continue to be. But they can't be anywhere. And sometimes the moment is there, and it's by the time you text your cameraman or call them or they see them, the moment it's gone, right? Where you see it, you shoot it. I always say shoot first, ask questions later. And that was the case with Jay and Jack. Let's shoot it, because I wouldn't want to say after, "Oh, I saw you guys talking. Oh, well, you could have used that." I'd rather shoot it and then go, "Can I use it?" "No." "Okay, that's fine." Delete, gone.
Yeah. Then they give you a scoop a couple weeks later.
That's right. Then they help you out, for sure.
Yeah.
Then they help you out. Yeah, I would agree with that. So.
Yeah, so you're like one of the media members in the city that's not trying to eviscerate everybody, and you get
Yes.
more stuff for it.
Yeah, I mean,
Weird how that works.
well,
How do you really feel today?
yeah.
Oh man,
Did you- what
I've
was
been
your
in a spicy
relationship?
mood for the last
I
couple,
like
couple
it.
days.
you know,
Yeah,
what's got you spiced?
my truck basically blew up, so I got like a
no.
$7,000 bill. Now I got to go get a new vehicle. So,
So
that
did you
one-
get rid of the truck?
It's sitting at Waterloo Ford right now with my buddy, and I'm driving his truck, and that's
So you're
just
getting it fixed, or
No wonder we're doing business calls today.
100%. Actually, I can't do business call today. I got to go skate.
Oh, okay. All right, we'll do them tomorrow.
But yeah, no, I've been in an interesting mood lately, and it's
You just want preseason to be over.
I do. That's what it is. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Myself
You're
and Tom talk about this one all the time, where it's just like, how do we always think that if we just consistently go at the team that they all want to give something back?
Yeah.
Like, in media, you can get so much more if you just approach it with a with more respect.
Yeah.
And I do think, like, you know, Edmonton Sports Talk does a really good job of that stuff. I think you do a great job of that stuff, but there's just so many. Maybe the past, the norm was to go at these guys and expect that it's all of a sudden going to be rosy on the other side. Like, and it's not.
Yeah.
And then there's like, well, why are you this? Why are you that? Why won't you work with me? Well, yeah, if you give it to me every single day, I'm not going to work with you.
Well, and and Tom knows this from being in rooms. I'm amazed at how kind NHL players are to media. In some cases, that they have been written about, talked about, shown on TV in a negative way, and they still stand up there. And they're, even though the person interviewing them maybe is somebody they dislike or they dislike them professionally, they stand up and they're there to be accounted for. And I'm a big fan of that. Like, I'm really impressed by athletes who maybe not necessarily would have to do that, or could find ways to skirt around a certain media person that they don't like or that's been really hard on them. But I find them to be very, very kind and gentle and forthcoming, even in difficult situations.
I agree 100% with you, especially in the hockey world. But, you know, sometimes I'll watch press conferences from football, basketball, baseball even, and I'll be like, whoa, these guys are giving it to them.
Yeah.
And they still take their questions. But there's more confrontation there. But I'm like, maybe we're not that bad. And we as a collective, and listen, there's outliers everywhere. But, like, compared to other sports, I feel like hockey in general usually is pretty good, but there are those that push and push and push, and then finally, when they get to the breaking point, because they push so much, they get the snap back.
And then we sit there and be like, why is he mad at me?
Well, there was that article, there was that story on the radio, there was that story in the news, and there was that. Yeah, it accumulates, and then they get to the breaking point. But
We're almost done here.
Yeah.
For the show for today.
The show's almost done, look.
Yeah, well, it's just getting set to
We're
wrap up and all of
satisfied.
that. And you guys got Hello Hockey this Saturday.
Hey.
The first edition in the NHL regular season of this season. That's at 10 o'clock right here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com and our YouTube channel. David Pagnotta?
yeah.
Is that a safe assumption for this
Yeah,
weekend?
Dave's like our insight. He's like basically every show.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's not available, and I have to make some calls to get some guests lined
Well,
up. But
it's only Wednesday. You've guys got a couple of days.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
couple days. There's some guys that are still kicking around that last year we tried to get on. There's one guy that I'm going to go back at pretty hard, and he's recently retired. He's a big name, and he's just like, Bellsy,
What did he play?
I haven't, where?
I know who you're talking about.
I can't, because then
then
that'd
it
be a
gives it away.
100% giveaway.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, I haven't done an interview in such a long time. I don't know if I really want to do it. And then I was like, well, man, this is easy. Like, this is not hard hitting questions.
No.
Just like, let's see what you're doing.
It's a
It's
hockey
lighthearted.
conversation.
And he's like, yeah, but somebody trapped me the other day, and I'm just mad about it. So I was like, okay, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But I'm circling back to him.
Yeah, good for you. Give him some time. I how many times have we had a moment and didn't get that, and then the person will circle back.
Yeah.
So good approach. See, you're on the other side of it too now, right?
Yeah.
The media side,
Yeah.
and that's
weird.
That's the way to do it.
We had amateur scout for the Montreal Canadiens, Fernando Pisani,
Yes,
on,
yeah.
and he was reluctant. Fernando well. He
Fernando,
doesn't
yeah.
always want to do media, but
Yeah.
Bellsy was able to convince
Good,
him. He
yeah,
was
yeah.
fantastic. And then I had a great conversation with Peter Hanlon from the Flames. Speaking of having good relationships with everyone, Pete sent a personal hello to you, and he's like, Tom, just let me know. I'm like, well, we're thinking Craig Conroy. He's like, yeah, just get in touch with me.
That'd be great.
That'd be a good one.
When can we see you on TV? Because you're here, so obviously not on the
not in
broadcast
Vancouver.
tonight.
And someone asked who is doing the call tonight.
So tonight it's Harnarayan Singh, Louis DeBrusque, and Dan Murphy.
Murph.
That's the combination, yeah.
Yeah.
I do not do Saturday's game, Scott Oak, Harnarayan, and Louis, and then I'm on the road, Nashville, Philly.
So
And
we
I
get to
get
start
started.
seeing you as of next Tuesday right on the broadcast.
Yeah. Time to get back to work. The shorts and sandals will be gone, except for the
But
one.
hang
Except
on.
you're on the road. Yeah, you're going on the road right away here, so you'll be good.
This is deceptive because every day at the rink, he's wearing a suit, like full suit and tie.
Yeah. I always dress for breaking news. Sometimes why are you wearing a suit? Well, what about if? And they're like, hey, we need you to do something. I'm in my. This isn't bad. I could get away with something like this quick, but if something
Not
big
gonna lie to you,
happens-
there's some people on your network who have terrible style, and they don't even. It's not even. It's worse than that.
Wow.
So-
You can
so
Save
always-
that right for the end.
You
why
could
we're-
always be like Kevin Weeks and just have it above your head.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
how is he done? Hey, how
Oh,
about that?
yeah, unreal.
Breaking news, and I love that he's made it his. Hey, breaking news, and then like you said, that's great to have a thing, right? Everyone knows that's Kevin's thing. So next Tuesday, Nashville,
Beautiful.
return of Matthias Ekholm, kind of one way or the other, unless he doesn't go on the trip.
I don't
We
know.
have to-
Maybe some deception yesterday,
to
and we see
see.
him today, but I don't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
might as
I'd
well
be
save him till
curious.
Saturday.
He looks a
Yeah,
lot better.
could
He
be.
went from being on the side to skating with the full group.
Yeah.
So we'll see where that takes us.
This was the EST Hangout for this
Yeah.
Wednesday. It is Oilers game day taking on the Canucks. Oil Stream, a pregame show coming up 6:30 tonight with Gazzola as he'll get you set for Oilers Canucks. Coming up next, it is the Lock Shop with Dusty and Huss. And then at noon, Tommy, you are back with the Oil Stream and Dusty. Like we said earlier, Oilers skating at 12:30 Edmonton time. So maybe we'll have some sort of idea who the starting goalie is for their first game tonight. Sean, Gene, thanks for coming in. It was great having you guys once again.
pleasure.
Lots of fun.
On behalf of Sean, Gene, and Gazzola, I'm Matt Iwanyk. Thanks for tuning in. Lock Shop coming up next. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.